flames or the ashes, the spirits light up the night. Looking
Now, we're live from the Untold Radio Network. It's Untold Radio AM with Monster Quest producer, host Doug Hychek, and co-host Jeff Perella Jr. Untold Radio AM is going live right now.
This show is for entertainment purposes only. Yep, that's the ticket. Now here are your Untold Radio AM hosts, Doug Hychek and Jeff Perella Jr.
Hello, everyone.
I'm here.
There's Doug. There's Doug.
Barely. I was actually...
They had to endure my giant head for a minute.
Yeah, I never get to do it, but I actually ate before the show.
Oh, I did too. I always do.
I never do. Ever. I always eat after like 10 o'clock or whatever.
I often do both.
But I'm worried that it was, what did I have? Chipotle. And it was really good. But, you know, that rice can kind of make you go, make you sleepy. Yeah. So I kind of worry. Anyhow, it was a really hot week for everybody. I see... was it Jennifer said, yeah, Jennifer Arnold. Oh, by the way, thank you for the super chat donation. Said hello from burning hot Mississippi. I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's been nasty here.
It's been, but today is right now, like right now, it just cooled off a little bit.
Yeah.
But we've had derechos, we've had tornadoes, we've had storms every night. We've had
torrential rain.
Rain.
Just ridiculous.
Yeah, a lot of broken trees.
Yeah.
But we're here. We're here.
Here we are.
We made it.
A great guest tonight. Looking forward to talking to Ray again.
Yeah, it should be fun. But I'm really thankful for those that invented air conditioning.
Yeah.
Air conditioning is so nice.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I never take it for granted. And I always go, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we got? So we have Ray Harwood tonight. He is a field archaeologist and anthropologist. And we're going to kind of focus on Bigfoot and tool use tonight.
Yep. He's an expert on primitive tools.
Yeah, and he's presented you a lot of stuff I've heard.
Lots. Yep.
Lots.
A lot of stuff. Yep.
Like lots of material.
Cool stuff. Mm-hmm.
So we've got that coming up. Then we've got tech breakdown. We've got clips. Everything's working tonight, right, Jeff?
Yeah. As of right now, this moment right now, everything is working.
Was that last week that everything went crazy?
Yeah, we've had some. Yeah, last
week nothing. The notes didn't work. Nothing worked.
Last week was a little bit rough, but
not even the text came through to either of us.
No,
that was weird. I don't know. I don't get it. We did a test today. It turned out, and everything's great. Yeah. We're back to normal.
No
our computers are communicating again.
Yeah, they like each other today.
But if you can figure out what happened, I'd like to know because that was weird.
Yeah, I'm stumped.
Okay, and then I do, on a side note, want to remind people that there's a fairly new show called Real American Monsters with Chris Reinhardt. I and Joe Frischella, and you're welcome to join too, Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be on Chris's show talking about Snellgrove Lake before Monster Quest, like the early days of Snellgrove, all the early stories and whatnot.
That'll be fun.
And that is on August 5th. That's Tuesday night.
Next Tuesday,
7 p.m. Central on Real American Monsters. And that'll be myself and Joseph Frischella. So there you go. Oh, I do want to remind, if you haven't done so, like if you want to remind yourself of that show or any show, you got to subscribe. Mm-hmm. Just hit the notification bell on that show. Because you probably don't like all of them, but you might have your, favorites. Or maybe you do like all of them. Then hit the notification bell on all of them.
Helps out a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay, moving on. And speaking of hot, I ran across this on the internet, and it was so weird I had to share it. And that is in photo 1. I sent you this thing.
Yikes.
And I saw this and I went, yikes, exactly. And this is a suit that you would wear when you were out bear hunting. I presume grizzly bear hunting. And this was in Siberia. So this is what Siberian bear hunters would wear. It says this brutal looking suit was actually worn by Siberian hunters in the 1800s, made entirely of thick leather covered in sharp metal spikes. And it was built to protect the wearer during bear hunts, I can only imagine. So if a bear lunged or attacked, it would injure himself on the spikes, giving you a chance to defend yourself. And I thought, really? That would work it. I mean, you could wear that to Walmart.
Yeah.
Couldn't you?
Wonder if it's shark proof.
Yeah, there you go. Too. Yeah, maybe it's the way to go for instead of chainmail, they wear this spike suit. It's like how we live in a crazy world. Okay, anyhow, enough of that. Enough of that. Crap. Yes, I'd say. So let's do just a little bit of news, and then we'll get into, I think, marketplace stuff. We'll get some really weird stuff, and then clips, and then we'll bring Ray on.
All righty, here we go.
Untold radio news that can be a bit weird is right now.
By the way, before we dive in, I want to say hi to a few people, especially, obviously, our moderators like Loretta Collins. We have Mary Jo Shermer, who's a member. We have, hi, Jeff Harding. Jeff. We got to bring your show back, Jeff. Kenny Hess, and then Jennifer and Kim Kincaid, and Mary Jo Shermer, and John Ayers, of course, is a moderator. Carl Supp is here. We love Carl. We've got Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. And they're a moderator. We've got, who else? Brendan B is in. We've got Marion Bott. I don't know who I'm missing here. Alan Goodler, I think.
Yeah.
We got Flat Rockland, who's always awesome. He's a moderator. And and because our show's maybe a little controversial, there's a little controversy tonight. Moderators, be on your toes.
Yeah, man, we got the best audience. I love you people so much. You just make this a ton of fun. Thank you for being fans. I really appreciate it. Yeah,
we do. Oh, and Lee came in, and we have Verax in the audience. Hello, Verax. I had a conversation with Verax the other day, and it lasted 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think 3 hours, something like that. It was a long time.
That was a fun show, man. See,
it was
just a great show.
Well, we're going to get him back for part 2. There's certainly more to his story, and there's more stuff going on, but it'd be nice just to have him on and kind of dig in a little bit.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun talking to him.
Sorry, back to the news. I get distracted easy. All right, so first thing is watch out for hordes. I love it. Hordes of tarantulas coming soon to these states. And of course, they're talking about California, Colorado, Kansas, New Mexico, Texas, and more. So apparently tens of thousands of tarantulas will be crawling out of their burrows in search of females. I didn't know they did that. I didn't know they had herd mentality. Did you?
Yeah, when I lived out in Colorado, they had one of these hordes, and so it was all over the news, and I learned a little bit about them. Have you ever seen a tarantula out in the wild? It's kind of unsettling.
No, hell no.
Yeah, I had one crawl right by my feet when I was standing there. They're not particularly dangerous if you leave them alone. It's unsettling. It's a big spider if you're not used to big spiders.
Yeah, well, I thought it was fascinating because. I don't really know that much about tarantulas. I know some people have them as pets. Mm-hmm. I heard they're very intelligent spiders.
Yep.
But basically, it talks about these hordes, and then I was reading comments of people saying that, there's at times traffic stops because they'll have 10,000 tarantulas all crossing the road.
I never saw that, but I heard of it. Yeah, they'll just completely.
All right.
They move in big rivers of them moving down the road.
So here's the question: is it because of one female across the road? I hope not.
No, I hope not.
Oh.
Jeez.
And then, of course, I got a little interested in tarantulas, and I just really didn't know that much about them. I didn't know they could throw their hair like a barb, like an arrow at you.
Yep.
I didn't know that. I didn't know they went in herds. I didn't know. I guess I knew their bite wasn't extremely poisonous, and I did a show on like tarantulas. It was called the Giant Spider Show on Monster Quest. It was kind of an interesting show, but it's been what, 15, 20 years. I don't remember much about it.
Yeah. You did a lot of how many episodes? You did a lot of episodes. How many did you do?
We did 4 seasons, and then 2 of those seasons were double seasons.
It's a lot of content.
So it's basically 6 seasons of work.
Yeah, that's a lot of content.
It was, yeah. I did not know that they were in Washington State.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they were all Southwest.
Yeah, they're in Florida too. I didn't know that. Nevada, Utah, Colorado, like you said, Oregon. I didn't know tarantulas lived in Oregon.
I didn't either. I thought they like dry climates. But they're not aggressive. As long as you leave them alone, they're not aggressive. They're just leave them alone.
Yes, it said the male and female tarantulas live in very different lives. Females stay near their burrows, hunting, feeding, growing, and they can live up to 20 to 25 years.
That's amazing.
I didn't know that either. That's a long life for a spider. And then depending on when they molt, if a male mates with a female, he usually dies and she usually eats him. I didn't know that
pretty
either.
Common, actually. Arthropods and insects. It
is up in Anoka.
It's not unusual.
It is up in Anoka, Jeff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Took you a while.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough. I was going to mention that tarantulas are eaten by foxes, coyotes, snakes, owls, and skunks. Well, that was kind of cool. All right. Now this next one is more newsy. Father fights off a mountain lion to save a 4-year-old in Olympic National Park. It says a peaceful family outing at Washington's Olympic National Park, which I've been to numerous times, turned into a nightmare when a mountain lion attacked a 4-year-old child. Every parent's nightmare right there, leading to a dramatic rescue by the child's father that witnesses are calling heroic. The attack occurred Sunday afternoon around 3:15 p.m. on Hurricane Ridge Trail. Okay. Apparently it's a really popular hiking destination known for its expansive mountain views. So apparently this thing had a radio collar on it. Not a domestic collar, but a radio collar on it. And it came up and just bit the 4-year-old.
Wow.
That's scary. And the child's father immediately sprang to action. Physically intervened to get his child away from the dangerous predator. Witnesses at the scene praised the father's quick thinking and brave response. And I agree. Yeah. I think any parent would do it, but still you think about the courage.
Yeah.
Ugh. All right. Next, scientists are stunned after encountering a species thought to be extinct for over 20 years. And you will never guess what it is. You see the picture of the water. It's a piece of coral. It's coral, which is an animal. Some people don't realize coral is a regular animal, right? It's a creature. And it's made up of a lot of these creatures that get together and they can colonize.
It's a colony. Yeah, it's a colony animal.
Yeah, colony of creatures. Okay, it says a coral species that was thought to have been extinct since 2000 has been rediscovered by researchers. It says in 1975, divers discovered a rare species of black stony coral in the Galapagos. And apparently after El Nino weather events significantly warmed the waters, the species disappeared. And the species is called, you want to pronounce that? Rhizosemia or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah. Rhizosemia wellingtoni. Practically vanished. It must be named after the guy who discovered it. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Anyhow, that's just kind of neat.
Have you've been in the Galapagos, haven't you?
No, I have not.
I haven't either. I'd love to see it.
My daughter wanted to go on a field trip there, and I talked her out of it. She was a little young. It's like that's a long journey for. I think she was like 9 years old. It's like, yeah, wait, you can go later in life. You'll enjoy it.
I'd love to see it.
I would too. I would. Although it's been so commercialized,
like
it's
everything.
Stay on the trail type thing.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of a bummer. But anyhow, then there is a plane bigger than a 747 that can fly for months. Currently, it's probably right now flying over your head, Jeff.
Could be.
Oh, by the way, the thing we didn't mention, I can literally see smoke and haze in my studio. Yep. We are under an extreme smoke watch where it's as thick as it can be. And it's been killing my eyes.
Yeah,
and,
it's been me too. It's been irritating me,
irritating my eyes and my throat all day. Like I feel like I have a sore throat from the smoke. God, please, people, put the damn fire out. It says Sky
Dweller Arrow.
Yeah, I got it. Sky Dweller isn't designed with human passengers in mind. Instead, Sky Dweller Arrow sees its aircraft primarily as a surveillance machine, circling the sky and providing much-needed eyes over conflict zones and other areas of interest. And apparently it's powered by the sun. It's got 1,400 pounds of batteries, and it can fly for months. And it hangs out at 25 to 35,000 feet. And if you believe any of that, you could buy some swampland from me. Because come on. Don't they always release this stuff after they've had it for 20 years?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this
we find about technology 20 years after the military.
Yeah, this is probably 30 years old.
Yeah,
it's in the news today, though.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, so anyhow, but it's interesting. All right, then cicadas are taking over an amusement park. It says visitors are advised to keep their mouth shut because it's so bad. Close your mouth and get ready for a roller coaster ride with thousands of bugs. Cicadas have taken over an amusement park in Ohio called Kings Island. Visitors to Kings Island Amusement Park near Cincinnati have captured videos of cicadas blanketing the park. Some are sharing TikTok videos of families delicately sidestepping the crunchy carpet. All right, there you go. So if you want to see a lot of these things and you're willing to keep your shirt, pants, armpits, and more closed, and that's the place to go right now. Yeah. They're noisy too. They're loud.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I've got. That's enough of that news crap. We're good. Let's move on.
Moving on.
I see Ray isn't in the back room yet.
No, I told him between 7:30 and 7:45.
Oh, okay. So. All right. I always worry that the time zone that, they just.
No, him and I, we're coordinated. We're coordinated.
All right,
him and I we're on the same page.
I just worry. The show's going too smooth, Jeff.
Don't say anything.
Just worry. That's all. All right. Let's do some fun marketplace picks.
All righty.
Weird.
It's now time for Untold Radio's odd, strange, weird, and zany marketplace deals. Please don't let these gems slip away.
By the way,
Fun.
Lee mentioned, well, what do you do when the sun goes down with that plane? Well, they have batteries. That's what the batteries
Yeah,
are for.
1,400 pounds of batteries.
Yeah, they store the sunshine. I would imagine they're making more power than they're using. They'd have to, or they couldn't stay in the air. And they're above
I mean, there's no cargo. I mean, it's just got some
Yeah.
technology and some batteries, and it's not carrying anything. So
yeah,
it's pretty
and
efficient.
they're above the clouds all the time, so they're getting
Yeah.
full solar energy.
Mhm.
All right. First off, by the way, please, audience, get involved. You can guess the price. It'd be fun. And at some point, I'm going to call out one of these items. And the first person to guess the exact price, they'll get something free in the mail. It's not a contest.
Not a contest.
It's not a
Important.
contest.
Not a contest.
That's what
Not
it's
a
called.
prize.
Not a contest.
It's not a contest.
No.
Not a raffle, not a contest.
No, it's nothing. It's just something. You get something free in the mail. That's all.
Yep. Pretty simple.
All right.
First up.
First up, an alligator table. Something I know you've always wanted, Jeff, is an alligator table.
Remember last time we talked about that? Yeah.
And this was listed 3 days ago. It says it has been carved depicting an alligator slowly swimming through the swamps of the Florida Everglades, but it's made in northern Wisconsin. So it's a local artist that made it. Anybody want to guess what this bad boy costs? It's not really a good picture of it. There were some other ones, and I chose the wrong one. It's actually pretty cool looking. It'd be cool if it was wider, so you'd have room for plates. Right?
Yeah. It looks like it's well done.
All right. So let's see, who do we got here?
Here.
We've got Kenny at $250, Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot at $750, Marianne Botts at $499, $750 for Mary Jo. Russell says $199, Jennifer $500, Loretta says $300. And then we have
I think
Lee.
this is the closest one so far.
Yeah, John, you won. You won nothing. But you're close. It's $1,200. Yeah, $1,200. Yep. I suppose. Yeah, it would take quite a while to carve that by hand, wouldn't it?
A lot of work. Yeah, it looks like it's well done.
Yeah, it is. You can see an eagle in the back of that picture. See, it's what he does.
Yeah.
I bet you used a chainsaw on some of it.
Could very well be. That's impressive stuff.
All right. The next one's really kind of shocking. It is the crazy cat lady action figure.
I think I know her.
Yeah. This was listed 4 days ago in out of Minnesota. And apparently you can pick it up at the door. It says this is the Accoutrements Crazy Cat Lady action figure, a novelty item featuring figure with a cat on her shoulder and 6 additional cat figures. So there you go. What is the price? Oh, we've got guesses. Brendan says 30. Flat Rockland says $34.99. What's the 99? I love it. It's the 99 cents. Jennifer says 75. Marianne 29. Lee 67.
Russell's spot on.
Oh, there you go. It's good.
Good
He
job.
cheated. He must have cheated, Russell. If you cheated, just put yes in the next comment. Or if you're just lucky, that's cool. That's cool. It's okay to cheat. I mean, it's
high stakes.
Flat says it's after tax. Yeah. Anyhow, it's $12. It's a bargain for the crazy cat lady. What a conversation piece that would be. All right. The next item is a 1994 Harley Davidson, but it's kind of different. I didn't send you the side shot, did I?
Nope, just that.
It's a dragon. The whole front is a dragon. I should have done that, dummy me. But it's quite nicely done. The guy's won a lot of awards, but it's basically a dragon Harley. But it's 1994. It's got 2,500 miles on it. How much, people? How much? So Squatch and Hollow,
Guessing.
he moved $2, but I don't think he's talking about the motorcycle. There we go.
No.
First ones, Marion,
we're all over the place.
10 grand. Black Sheep just says nice. Kenny S says 6,500. Brendan B 25,000. John Ayers 65,000. Jennifer 7,500. Squatch and Holler, it's got to be Roger, is at 75,000. Black Sheep at 60.
We're guessing pretty high, folks.
Ryan at 1150. Let's see who's closest. Mary Jo.
Right there. Oh, right there.
Yeah,
Joe's
there we
pretty
go.
darn close.
Gina Productions 54. Yeah, but it's kind of an arbitrary number. It's a hard one to guess.
Yeah.
But it actually is beautiful. But I personally wouldn't want to drive a Dragon.
I don't know what would you do with something like that? It's
parades, maybe. I don't know. Bike shows. You definitely get a lot of attention at a bike show.
Yeah.
The guy must be a fiberglass artist because the work on it is crazy cool.
Yeah.
All right, and Mary Jo, you can buy this now. You can go online, find this, and buy it for $2,000 less than you think it's worth. So there you go.
15.
Oh, it says it won Daytona and Bike Week in Germany. It's also in the Harley Davidson Coffee Table Book. So there you go.
That's cool. Got a little bit of notoriety out of it.
Well, the next one's really strange.
Really strange.
It is a mask of Reverend Jesse Jackson. And I don't think it's a very good likeness of him. But I'd like to see you guys guess what this thing is worth. This has been listed for over a year.
Small, yeah.
Kind of a small market, maybe. It's a vintage latex. Yeah, it says vintage latex mask, high quality of Reverend Jesse Jackson. So here we got stuff coming in. Lee at 23. Loretta just says creepy. I think so too.
Brendan and Loretta are close.
Oh, it's Kenny at $20. Mike Bryan says it looks more like Snoop. Russell Johnson, 25. Nobody's gotten it yet. Flat says, latex masks do not last long. Yeah, it might be a little crunchy. The indescribable Octoman got the closest.
That's pretty close.
75. It's $80. And he's obviously holding to his price.
Man, it's been listed for a year. At some point, you probably want to check your price. But,
you might. Right. You could list something like that for $1 and it may not sell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just don't know what you would do with that.
What's the market for old latex? Unless it was worn in a movie or something like that and had, star power. All right. The next one is really different. And I was kind of looking at it, kind of admiring it, kind of going, well, I get it. This is listed as a survival bike. The condition is used, fair, survival bike. It's a 125cc, but it says it needs work. It says not perfect by any means, but runs. But has no front brakes. Rear brakes are not great either.
That's great. No front brakes, rear brakes not great either. That's it.
Yeah, it needs a new seat. Yes, you might survive on this bike.
You might make it.
You might not.
Like that.
But it looks well done.
Well, he's honest.
Except the tank looks a little small for a survival bike. I'd want a really big tank on it. It looks
a 125. It's going to not need a lot of gas, but that's still that's a pretty dinky little.
So, what do you think it was made out of, Jeff? Almost looks like a CT70 engine, a Honda CT70.
Yeah, it's probably a Honda clone engine, probably like a Lifan clone of a Honda engine.
The wheels are
the
thin.
frame looks just cobbed together out of all kinds of stuff.
Who knows? Anyhow, anybody want to guess this? So we got prices coming in. Let's see here. John Ayers says
it was a mountain bike.
2,500. Marion 100. And Kenny says
That's a pretty good guess right there from
Gina says 100.
That's a pretty close guess.
Oh, there we go. Is that the guess of the night on that
I think
one?
that's the best guess right now so far. Yep.
Yeah. Dookie Pickles.
Right.
Dookie, you can buy this bike, but you're going to want to definitely put front and rear brakes on it. All right, next.
Yeah.
Enough of that crap. Next, we have an odd one.
Yeah, 1 second here.
This is a wall-mounted T-Rex. That's
Sure.
15 inches, neck to head, 16 inches, wall to nose, 8 inches wide.
Small.
And it looks pretty cool. It'd be great for, I guess, like kids around, right?
Yeah, if you want to wake up to that, kid wants to wake up in the middle of the night to that, sure.
Well, I'm talking about like some nerdy kid into dinosaurs. That's
that'd have been me.
Yeah, that would have been look good in your room. Anyhow, anybody want to guess on this?
Oh, we got a really good guess. Kenny is pretty darn close.
Kenny is? Oh yeah, $75. You only $5, Kenny. I thought it was actually worth more than what they were asking.
Well, it's pretty small. It's not very big.
And the person who was most off, we love you, the indestructible Octo-Man was the most off.
All right, last one.
But I think it's worth about what he thought it was worth, or she. No, I thought it was worth about $200. You never know. All right, next. And by the way, this one is the one that you got to get the closest. And you'll get some free stuff, something in the mail, free. But you got to get the right answer on this one. All right, it says, give a friend $500,000 of shredded money and enjoy the conversation it will bring. It's $500,000 in that jar. What are they asking for it? So that's the question. And I am waiting for guesses to come on. And you only get one guess. So Lisa's 103.
Oh, we got a close one. I don't want to give any hints away. Keep guessing.
Russell's at $50. Marion's at 1,000. Loretta's at 70. Brendan's at 65. Tennessee Kentucky Bigfoot's at 500. Squatch and Allers at $24.99. What's with the 99 cents? 50 flat goes 15. He's just bugging me. He goes $59.99 now. All right, everybody's got to put 99 at the end. All right, who is it? We're gonna call it in a little bit second here. We got one more.
All right,
one more 10 second.
Got a good
wait.
guess.
Come on. I knew this would be a good one because it's really hard to find.
Yeah,
you couldn't cheat.
Well, should we call it here? It looks like the closest is.
Who is it?
Dookie Pickles again at 155.
It's $20 off.
$20 off.
It's 135.
So
Dookie,
email me.
Jeff is about to find out your real name. If you want.
I'm typing in my email in the chat here. It's jeffp@untoldradioam.com.
And we will not reveal your identity.
Yeah, but just I won't. I keep that private, but we just need your name and mailing address. Please email that to me, and we'll get something out to you.
Yeah, and you could be another fake name, right?
Yeah, as long as I don't care.
You could just say Dookie.
As long as you get the address right.
As long as the address is right, you can just say Dookie Pickles. So where's Buttworm? I haven't seen Buttworm in a while. Remember Buttworm?
It's can you read it in the chat there? It's Jeff P, JEFFP at untoldradioam.com.
Yeah,
if you scroll up, I typed it into the chat there.
All right. Good job. Good
Enough
job.
of that.
Good guess. Good guess.
Ray. I have no Ray yet.
Yeah, you might want to bug Ray because we're getting out of pre-show soon. Might want to text Ray.
I am texting him right now.
And we're going to do tech breakdown. Then we've got 10 quick clips I think are really cool. And we've got a very cool tech breakdown I think you will like, I think.
Okay, here we go. And all right, again, here's my email here. I just put up on the screen here. Jeff P. UntouldRadioAM.com.
All right.
Oh, there, Ray. Ray's checked. Ray's ready.
Yeah,
now.
we got Ray in the green room. All right.
We got Ray in the green room.
Let's do this tech breakdown, Jeff.
Yep.
All right.
Let me get the pictures up.
This is all about staying cool during the dog days of summer and improving your basically improving your camping experience. These things have been around a long time, but I don't think many people really get it or understand it. This is an inflatable tent with a built-in pump. You just pump it up and no stakes. Well, you can have stakes, but no, what do you call them? Tent poles. No tent poles.
Inflatable tent poles.
Yeah, they're built into the tent. And I just think it's really, really cool. And they're not that expensive. One would think, well, that's that kind of stinks. It's going to be $1 million. But these things actually only take a few short minutes to inflate. They come with all the pins, the ropes to secure it. You have a lot of room inside for your luggage, your ice chest, garbage cans, all that stuff. And it comes with a queen air mattress. So you can go 2 different directions with a queen mattress. And you don't have any tent poles. So the tent becomes more roomy inside. Mm-hmm. Right? Comes with its own carrying case. If anybody wants to guess what one of these bad boys cost, it's only $399, and you get it. There's a $60 coupon on Amazon.
Nice.
So, and this also has a skylight. I mean, it's got a lot of cool features.
That's pretty cool. That's not very expensive.
And I've known people that have had them, and they love them. Because they don't have to think. They just lay it out and pump it up. Yeah. And just poosh. And this one doesn't have a built-in pump. Other ones actually have a built-in foot pump. You just kind of pump it with your foot. And you're not really inflating the whole tent. You're just inflating these tubes that hold it up. And sometimes they put air chambers in the roof to make the roof a little stiffer. So in rain, you don't get the sag. So it's actually a very practical thing, is for driving camping. Obviously not good for backpacking, too heavy.
Right.
But for driving camping, if that's what your deal is usually, and that's what most people do, these are absolutely perfect. Here's another example that Jeff can put up, and there's a little smaller version, but this is also an inflatable tent. You can see the silver in the back, kind of that silver tube. Mm-hmm. That's like sewn in, but that's what holds the tent up. It's quite cool.
Yeah, it's clever. It's a clever idea.
It's very clever. And you just push a button and it deflates and you can go home. All right. Then next, to help you through the dog days of summer, if you're going to go camping, this is the one I use. It's a battery powered fan. Works excellent. I even took it to Snellgrove twice. It will run damn near all week on low without the light on, but it's got a built-in light. You've got a USB charger to charge your phone. But the fan, to have a fan when you're normally, sweating, and you get a nice hot humid night, and you're dying inside a tent. There's no airflow. This really gets you through the night, and you'll sleep much better. They're not that expensive. This one, I believe, that I own is $50. Yeah. Yep. I think you can wait. You can get coupons here and there. I think I only paid
And a cheap solar panel. Solar panels are dropping in price too, so you can charge the day with your solar panel.
Absolutely.
Get multiple days out of it.
Yeah, and actually, to get people thinking about fans and solar, there is a smaller. I just bought one. It's more of a handheld. It's got a little fan on it. It's only $9 for a rechargeable solar lantern with a little fan. It's like probably 3.5 inches. This fan puts out a lot of wind.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the next thing was to suggest this very, very well made, bulletproof, retractable, portable clothesline with these metal clips for $9. Super handy for hanging stuff. So many people don't bring a clothesline with rope, and then of course the wind blows everything away. But these clips are bulletproof metal. They really are strong. And you can, put this between two trees and not lose your clothing. It'll dry nice.
Yep, and it packs down nice and small. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Good idea.
Super cool. That's it. That's the tech breakdown. It's just trying to make you more comfortable when you go camping. And if you're in the market for a tent, and you do driving camping, a blow-up tent is maybe the way to go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. What do we got next?
Let's do our clips, and we're going to bring Ray on. We got Ray safely in the green room.
Yep. Looks like he's ready to go. All right, let's do some clips.
All right. We have clip 1. Sound is good. This is a little look into the near future where drones will have wheels. And this is a test at one of the colleges. And I'm hoping, Jeff, they add like RC rock crawler wheels so you can land your drone and keep going, right? Crawl over the land. So go ahead and show this.
Yeah, I apologize for the small video. That one didn't want to upload very good. Pretty neat, though.
Yeah. There is sound on this one.
Is it not playing?
No, we can't hear any of your sound.
You know what? I think I have some issues here. I might need to restart my browser.
Oh, okay. Well, we're not worried because none of the clips need sound.
All right. Let me.
All right. Now, clip 2.
Clip 2.
Certainly don't need sound on this. Have you ever heard of a mouse deer, people? A mouse deer. This is a real animal, very, very delicate, Southeast Asia, and it's called the mouse deer. Isn't that a cutie?
Yeah, look at how delicate those legs are.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it's a real animal. Look it up.
Wow.
It's not AI. I've known about these things for many years. I just think they're just like they can't even be real. They're just so delicate.
Yeah.
All right, clip 3. Sound is good, but Jeff don't care because he doesn't have any sound. Just let it play, and I can kind of narrate this. So this guy has spent the last 21 years, Jeff, carving these balsa wood buildings. He claims to almost have carved almost 1 million of them accurately to the entire New York City map. Every building. He's worked on this 21 years.
Wow.
So maybe you can just fast forward, and I don't know if I think he points out some other areas. He's got, I think, 250 or 350 of these panels, and he's now just starting to connect them.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's all accurate, all scale and all accurate.
Well, over 21 years, I don't know how much of it's changed. So it's not even accurate anymore.
That could be. Well, then he just takes the wire cutters and goes
update it. Wow,
yeah,
that's incredible.
Glue. But isn't that crazy?
That's incredible.
Imagine the dedication to do this. So when you think, man, I got a bunch of projects I got to do tomorrow, think about this. This will give you a new perspective. He's showing just a tiny bit of it.
Yeah.
just a tiny bit of it, but I'm absolutely impressed. He definitely wins the, I don't know, is that an artist of the year in my book, or most dedicated creator of something in my book? Very dedicated.
That's definitely a passion project. That guy's
Can you imagine? He's carved almost 1 million buildings
out of balsa. Wow.
out of balsa.
That's incredible.
Yeah. All right, next. All right. You don't see a lot of two-wheel robots, but this technology is getting more and more perfected. And it's actually, two wheels are very, very, I mean, it uses less energy to have wheels.
Look how stable that is.
Yeah, to have wheels versus like a robot that's patrolling on foot. This uses much less energy.
And way fewer moving parts. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But watch this. Did you back that up and play that again? Watch this thing do a jump. This is where it's really crazy.
Wow, that's pretty
That thing
wild.
was coming after you and looking for you. You'd have a hard time getting away.
Yeah.
Because I can leap. Isn't that amazing?
That's neat. That's really cool.
It is. And this is from the Robotics AI and the AI Institute. So the world is about to change, people. I don't think people really understand what's about to happen in the next just year or two. Literally, you're going to start seeing robots at your front door delivering packages. Mm-hmm. You're going to see robotic cars, driverless cars everywhere, taxis. You're going to see weird robot dogs walking around. The police departments are going to be buying all this stuff. It's going to seem like the future finally. Remember when we were kids, Jeff? We always thought the future, the flying cars and the robot. It never came.
You were a kid long time before I was, though.
Blah.
I had to rub that in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you couldn't really be my kid. But you know what I mean. You remember you were still in that era. Yeah. We all thought the future was going to be a little more futuristic, and it never came.
No.
But now the future is going to come so fast, it's going to scare the living heck out of everybody.
Yeah, I read a lot of sci-fi books that were written in the 60s and 70s that predicted by the 90s we're going to be the Jetsons.
And it never came.
Never quite happened.
Never came. Yep. Even public buses aren't going to have drivers. The workforce is going to change. It's going to be crazy. All right. So this clip, it will work, but you can just read it. So apparently China officially launches humanoid robots for about $16,000, and they are selling already like crazy. And this is just video. I know you guys have all seen lots of videos, but you can actually buy this now. $16,000. There you go. Jeff wants one tomorrow.
You know what? I kind of don't. The stuff kind of scares me a little bit. I don't.
It is scary. It's creepy and scary.
I agree.
Yeah,
it's so easy to get dependent on that kind of stuff. I'm kind of getting to be anti-technology, anti-AI. It's getting scary.
All right. The next clip. That was a nice knockout. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sure they'll have boxing on TV against robots. And you can just imagine. I'm just going to tell you, people, in the next 2 years, life is going to get really, really weird for all of us.
Yeah.
The future is finally going to be here. And I'm not saying it's good. It just is. All right. So the next thing is an elephant in a zoo does an amazing thing here and saves a fellow zoo mate from the water. And you can clearly see it's trying to save, I don't know even what it is, some kind of antelope.
That's crazy. Cool? Elephants are amazing animals.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, next. Oh, I wish your sound were, well, you can try the sound on this. It's a European grouse. And these things make the worst sounds. They sound like a dang near like a Bigfoot coming at you. They're very aggressive. It's a northern European grouse. and they're very aggressive. It's called the capercaillie, also known as the cock of the wood. So no sound. Try it, Jeff. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything.
Well,
I can
damn
actually
it.
hear it. I can actually hear the sound of my computer. It's not going through the browser for some
You need to
reason.
get with Alex and get that ironed out.
I wrestled with it more today too. I'm not sure what's going on.
You need to get it figured
Never
out.
ends.
Need to get it figured out, Jeff.
I'll
Or
work on it.
I can play them from my computer.
I'll figure it out. I actually had an idea about 5 minutes before we went live. I had an idea what my
all right,
so
clip.
We'll try.
Clip 8, by the way, sound doesn't matter because this is a slipper lobster and they don't make any sound. Look how weird this thing is. It almost looks like a face on its back.
Yeah, it does.
Probably to ward off predators. It's
Yeah.
called a slipper lobster.
That would startle me if I saw that underwater.
Hell yeah. It's like a
That's scary.
mask.
Yeah.
So it looks like a mask. All right. This one is crazy. This bull is really horny. Super horny bull. I've never seen anything like this. It's just insane. It can't even hold its
Jeez,
head
it could barely
straight.
walk.
Yeah, can't even hold its head straight. It's called an Amazon longtusi.
Wow.
Amazon longtusi bull. It's got to be a world record. Oh my goodness. Look at that poor cow just saying, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
The cow is just like, I'm out of here. All right. Clip 10.
Last one.
No sound. No, I found this interesting. You might want to play this a couple times. This is exactly the same phenomena that we had in my backyard. And we got to see these up close, 30 feet, 20 feet away.
Wow.
And we did get some footage, or she did, but my phone burned out filming these things.
Yeah, you had all
up
kinds
close.
of stuff go out, didn't you?
Yeah, oh yeah, we had all of our HDMI outlets burn out on every TV. All the low voltage in the home burned out. And you could say, well, that's just a coincidence. I doubt it. I mean, even my boat, the controller burned out. So it had a great effect on electricity. Go ahead, can you play that again? So what they do is, they sparkle, they turn white, then they turn black, then they disappear, and they kind of shimmer. And there was a big, we had a huge swarm of them. I have no idea how many we had in our yard, but they were all over the roof, the yard, the trees. They were everywhere. And at first glance, you think it's a flock of birds because they act kind of like birds in the way they move, but they're not birds. I can guarantee you. So there you go. I can't even, cool. I think you have to have a big computer to see them even. That's all I've got.
Okay.
Or as they say, enough of that crap.
Enough of that crap. So coming up.
All right, we're gonna put Ray Harwood on alert now.
He's ready.
He's sort of ready. He's got his head cut off. I'm looking at him in the back room, and it's like I can't even see his head. Top of your head's cut off, Ray. I want to tilt your camera down. All right, so let me introduce Ray. He's really a cool guy, super cool guy. We spent a lot of time on the phone today. So Ray Harwood, he's an American author from Northwest United States. And when he's not working, Ray spends the majority of his time hiking, kayaking, fishing, hunting, and collecting rocks.
And flint napping.
Flint napping. I have no idea what flint napping is, but I'm sure he's going to tell us.
Yep. We'll talk about that.
And conducting experiments and research projects. It says Ray Harwood attended California State University of Northridge and graduated in 1984 with a degree in anthropology and archaeology. Ray studied under the world-renowned, whatever this is, the lithic expert Professor Clay Singer. Okay, but what's unique about Ray is Ray has published a lot of books on the Bigfoot mystery. Obviously, he's interested in it. Throw up photo 20. Oh, there it is. This is just one example of his many books. He also publishes a kind of a magazine he puts out on occasion, which is called, God, I forgot. It's called Bigfoot Quest. How did I forget the Quest? Not Monster Quest, Bigfoot Quest magazine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
he's
you can
prolific. He writes a lot of stuff.
Yep, there it is. You can throw up a couple of his covers. But tonight we're going to focus on the one book called, you want to throw that back up? The Toolmaker. Sasquatch, the Toolmaker. And he has presented Jeff with a whole lot of things I have not seen.
Yep.
Probably be a little controversy tonight, but this is what he has found in the field. He's the real deal. He's out in the field. And from his perspective, that's what we're going to talk about from Ray's perspective. So with that, let's welcome Ray Harwood.
All right. Before I bring Ray on, just an FYI, I'm gonna reboot here, but I'll bring Ray on first. So
Sure.
Welcome, Ray, and then I am going to step out for just a second here and reboot everything.
All right.
Ray, how you doing?
Great, thanks.
How are you? It seems like we just talked like 10 minutes ago.
It does.
All right.
I thought you'd have one of those robots all clothed out as a Bigfoot and have a Bigfoot walking around your house.
Oh, no.
Breakfast and whatnot.
It's coming. It's coming. I'm not sure I'm ready for the future, but I've been waiting for the future since I was a kid, when you could appreciate it, but it never came. It's here now. All right. So let's start, Ray, with obviously, you've lived out in the West. You live currently in Idaho, as I know, right?
Correct.
And you go to Montana a lot and do research.
Correct.
Do you want to tell us about maybe your experience in what you saw on one of your research trips?
Sure. Let's see. Well, I haven't been out for a couple of weeks. I had a family issue that we had to resolve, and I had this enormous tree in my yard that had to be cut down. It was starting to lean, and it was going to smash my neighbor's house to pieces.
Oh, no.
So it took me quite a while to find someone that was brave enough to climb up and cut it down. But it was a spectacular looking tree, so I kind of miss it. But yeah, every time the wind blew, it broke right through the fence, and so there was that. So
how did you get interested?
See, well, my interest started at, like I was speaking with you before a couple times. I started really enjoying your shows, Monster Quest, especially the one with, that they go into, the all-girl group goes into Mount St. Helens area, and they have the Patterson and Gimlin, a deep dive into Patterson Gimlin.
Yep.
But
that was with Bill Munns, that episode.
Yeah, that was excellent. And then as far as the field part, it was kind of multifaceted. Like you were saying, I think we talked about this the last time I was on a little bit, but I was working with Clay Singer. He was the lithic technologist, which is basically replicative. It's called replicative systems analysis, where you the archaeologists in the field excavate stone artifacts, and then you try to find the same material, which would be flint or chert or obsidian, and they call those lithic materials. And then you try to get the same lithic material and try to replicate the reduction sequence, the rock reduced into a usable piece, and then the production sequence, which is flint napping it into a similar tool, and that's what they call a true replica. There's simulations where you find a piece of flint and it doesn't have to match, and it may be a piece of glass or obsidian, and you copy the thing, but you don't use the same systematic
I was going
reverse
to interrupt. I
engineering.
was going to interrupt you, Ray.
Yeah,
Obsidian, just so people know, is like so freaking sharp. It's scary.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's insane.
yeah. They use it in a lot of open heart surgeries now. Obsidian blades.
Really?
Yeah,
I
and
didn't know
it's
that.
so sharp it does not leave a scar.
I had no idea.
Although I'll argue that because I got a lot of scars from it. But if it's done correctly and the blades detach correctly, and it's got a sharper edge than steel, and you can cut yourself in that manner, and it leaves no scar. So, and anyway, if you use the same material and the same sequence, and you replicate, that's lithic technology. So you do it to bolster archaeological studies and things like that. So anyway, Clay and I were going. He invited me to out to the Mojave Desert to a meeting of lithic technologists in 1983, I think it was, or 1982 maybe. And there was some famous archaeologists there and whatnot. And the in Yermo, which is in Mojave Desert, there's an archaeological site called the Calico Early Man Site, which is it's really highly controversial, but not as much now as it was back then. Back in that time period in archaeology, there was very specific paradigms. So they had the Clovis point, which was approximately 12,000 years old, and before that, there was no human occupation in the New World, according to the paradigm of the time. And archaeologists would spend basically their lifetime or career trying to test this hypothesis. I can't find anything online, but when I was studying, they called it the Birdsall's hypothesis, and you hear a lot about it in Sasquatch studies. About the Bering Land Bridge and coming across the Bering Strait during glaciation periods, where the water's low and the Aleutian Islands are sticking out, so you can walk across there. And so this Calico site was allegedly pre-Clovis. So at the time, it was shocking. Now it's not such a big deal because they found other sites that are similar. So at the time, I was speculating that they're right. It's not a human site. It's some sort of relic hominoid or something like this, what they'd call at the time ancient man or whatever. So that was my thought. And then when I started seeing references to the Bigfoot and the Patterson-Gimlin site encounter film, I started thinking, I wonder if that species of Sasquatch has been in the New World for a lot longer than people speculate. So instead of coming across the Bering Strait with Clovis man 12,000 years ago, perhaps the Sasquatch, which could be, 4 separate species, I think maybe it was there much longer. Because that Calico site, the lenses, the archaeological lenses, which you're like, when you go in there and you look at the sediments, the sediments that these tools were in were far enough down where they could be 200,000 years old, which extremely predates human occupation according to the paradigm at the time. So I started thinking that Sasquatch has been here a long time. And then when I found footprints in Yosemite many years later, then I thought, and they're still here. So that's how sort of I got into it. But I wasn't really super involved until maybe 12 years ago, and I found additional footprints, and then that sort of solidified my interest. And then when COVID hit and they locked us down, I started surfing the internet on different topics and binge watching Monster Quest and binge watching In Search of, and Cliff Barackman's Finding Bigfoot and things like that. And then I started getting really, really interested in it. And then I started listening, to debates online and whatnot. And I started that they showed the structures, the branch structures and log structures and whatnot. And I thought to myself, I've seen those. I've seen those a lot of times when I was hunting or horseback riding or hiking and stuff. I've seen those. I just, like everyone else, I thought, oh, that's just made by humans. But then some of the contexts that I've seen them in, it didn't make sense. So people would say, oh, I think Boy Scouts have made those. But I've been out in the woods here for nearly every day for 12 years, and I have seen no Boy Scouts, I don't think at all. And I certainly haven't seen anybody making those structures, but I have seen the structures. And sometimes they're near human habitation, and sometimes they're extremely far out and in difficult places to get to. So I'm sure, you have both worlds. It can be a little of both. Maybe there's wilderness survival and that sort of thing's real popular right now with some of the YouTubers, and I'm sure some of it is that. And then and maybe even kids, children doing it. But I think that the preponderance of the ones I've actually gone up and looked at have the classic twisted branches, nothing cut, which wouldn't rule it out in my opinion, because if a trail crew's gone through and cut brush and cut sticks and trimmed trees and leaves that stuff, there's no reason a Sasquatch couldn't make use of those things to build one of these structures. And I've seen the Park Service come through and dismantle these structures and chuck them down the side of a hill, and within 2 weeks it's back up. They put it, someone or something has restored it. So
yeah, I've witnessed that too. Like, how long did it take for it to get restored after it got taken down?
Well, I saw one that I'm not quite sure. I can't answer it completely because there was a spot where there was multiple dwellings, and I went in to get. I bought a GoPro, so I thought, oh, this will be good for the GoPro, so I can go inside, outside, all around, and start recording like a file of these things, and then I compare and contrast. But when I went, they were gone, and I saw that the Forest Service or the Park Service or someone had come in and dropped logs over some of the trails so you couldn't access them. So there wasn't anything. But the next time I came, I was bringing my dog, one of my dogs, and it sniffed back there, and there was the two of them were back up. So that was like a month or two later, but they may have done it, sooner than that. But I had visited that site.
Right.
And then one of them was, and I think I have a photograph of it when we do our slideshow, but one of them was immense. And I found articles in a newspaper dating back 40 years that were referring to the same wiki up or conical branch dwelling.
Yeah, if you can find that, Jeff, go ahead and throw it up.
Yeah, so anyway, but that's in the last set of photographs that I sent on my Gmail. But in any case, so I called the state archaeologist, and I said, there was a historic dwelling that I've been going back and looking at for 12 years, and I've read stories and talked to people that said it's been there for at least 50 years. And
Is this the one
every
you're looking for?
year, yeah, that's exactly the one. So every year, they take, um, there's new, it's restored every year. Every year I'd come back and it had restoration, new branches, new logs, debris moved, stuff like that. So it had been maintained for 50 years. And so I called the state archaeologist and I said, I think this is actually a wiki up that was used by the Native Americans in the area as a seasonal dwelling for the migration of the salmon up the Spokane River. So then I think what happens is, in my opinion, or at least one of my hypotheses is some of these things that are existing artifacts, Sasquatch moves in and uses. And I've seen other examples of that. There was when I found that trackway in Yosemite, I followed the tracks to a big monolithic slab of granite, and on top of the granite there was these bowl-shaped holes that that I think it was the Monachi Indians, Native Americans, had taken a stone and pecked the holes deep and then ground them round in the bottom and used them as a mortar and pestle. And when I followed the footprints, I found that the Sasquatch, it appears to have cleaned out those ancient mortars and taken the old pestles that were laying around and actually opened hard sage seeds and acorns in there. And yeah, that was interesting because I also followed the same footprints, and I might have said this last time, but it was I think it's kind of unique because I haven't heard anyone else talk about this, but they had two side-by-side footprints, and then right under that was feces. So it looked like it just stood right there and kind of crouched down and went, and then just went about his business or her business. So that was interesting. But yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the pestles.
Yeah.
Can you get in a little more detail on what you saw?
Yeah. Okay.
What were they made of? And
In California, everywhere they have it. It's the Antiquities Act, the Federal Antiquities Act,
right.
Which means you're really not supposed to pilferage graves or Native American archaeological sites. That doesn't include isolated finds in most states. So if you're on private land and you find an isolate, which is like an arrowhead on a trail that was maybe shot at a deer, you could pick that up. But if it's got provenance and it's in situation of other artifacts and it's a site, it's protected by the American Antiquities Act.
Okay, so these were
the
were
pestles
ancient.
are still there.
So they were ancient. Okay.
Yeah, they weren't made. It was they'd picked up. It appears they picked up these ancient pestles and used them in the same manner that they were originally manufactured and designed for, placing the pestle in the deep granite holes in the bedrock and grinding up edible hard-shelled seeds, nuts, and whatnot.
That's interesting. So you think they're just repurposing?
Yeah, I do, and I think
tools.
it's an opportunist type thing.
Okay.
And I think that a lot of the things that Sasquatch is doing is opportunity.
Have you ever seen them use, modern garbage, old tin cans, bottles, anything like that? Ever?
Yeah, And like that goes along with the opportunity thing. As I was in one area looking for a while, and I'd heard of people saying that they would take items and bring them into the woods. And I was pretty deep in the woods, and I saw like kids' toys and stuff like this, like Hot Wheels tracks and whatnot. And then a couple of weeks later, I was in the same area, and I found a dead porcupine.
Okay.
And so it had been butchered, but the laceration that went from the chin down to the rectal area and then opened up um, was done with a tin can lid that had been scraped even sharper on a piece of some kind of stone.
Wow.
They don't really have sandstone here, which is usually like an abrasive. But anyway, that's what it appeared like to me. But it was definitely a porcupine, and it was definitely butchered and partially eaten. And I don't know if I interrupted the process or if someone else did or something, but it had been partially eaten. And porcupines are very difficult to process, so that was kind of interesting.
Okay, but no campfire, no human sign,
No,
just
no
a
human
porcupine.
sign.
Can you describe
That's amazing.
what organs may have been missing, or what part of the
It was pretty complete. It was an empty cavity, like when you clean a trout, you clean everything
Right.
out. Yeah. So it had been eaten.
Do
The
pe-
insides have been eaten, and carefully, as you can see, uh, like on the left side and the right side of the cadaver or the corpse or whatever, is pieces of wood that looked like it was set so you could work on it without touching the quills.
Wow.
And you found, how far away did you find that the can top?
It was right there in context.
Oh, really?
It was right there. So I
And
think
could you find where it had been sharpened?
it was more like
Scrape mark?
like if they called it a microwear analysis. So it's basically you analyze it for use wear.
Okay.
And so, but when you're using it on flesh, there's not a lot of, it doesn't leave a lot of use wear marks unless you're cutting bone. And this was just, I don't, maybe had to cut through the sternum and whatnot, but I think what it was mostly, rubbed on a rock to maybe get the, maybe to make it so it wasn't sharp on one end so you could handle it as a knife.
Okay, but no human is going to go kill a porcupine and not have a knife and just grab a can top to cut it open. That sounds weird.
It is.
That would be
And,
weirder.
It's a pretty good trick. That's pretty good problem solving. That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean,
actually.
that would be a weird thing to think that a human would do that. It
And
just seems odd.
there was other stuff in the area too. I mean, I've seen in context, I can't say directly in context with footprints, but footprints in the same area at different times. And also, I did hear a vocalization there. Well, twice. One vocalization. It was down in a canyon, probably 300 yards from that area, and it sounded just like you would hear a chimpanzee, but it was like just one blurt, like like chip sound, and then nothing. And then about a year later, it was in deer season, and I came up the canyon, and I heard a distinct tree knock, just one single tree knock, but it was hard and loud enough it echoed all through the canyon area.
Wood on wood?
It, in my opinion, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you said the chip sound. What do you mean the chip sound? Stone on stone, or like them making flint
Oh,
tool?
no, not chip sound, but chimpanzee.
Oh, chimp.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Chimp sound. Gotcha.
Yeah, that makes sense because
I've heard that too.
Flint napping, you use chipping. So
Yeah, I gotcha. Sorry.
yeah, and it was kind of weird. It was kind of like I mean, to me, it sounded just like you were at the zoo and you heard a chimpanzee.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, that was strange. But
yeah.
I mean, it was so dense. I mean, I'm not opposed to busting brush. I do it quite often. Even you got to wipe the ticks off and whatever. But um, yeah, I stopped. I heard the noise, and it was real obvious. And I don't know. I walked up and down that trail and looked as much as I could, and I could sort of focus. I could sort of pinpoint where it came from, but the shrubbery was so dense there. There was no way I could have get in there. And there's also, if you go into that really dense stuff, that's where the wolves have their with their little dens, and also mountain lions recline in there. So it's not real smart just to go barging through that too much. And then there's stinging nettles, and there's poison oak. Because in their hollers, there's usually water in the bottom, and that's where you get those kind of plants. And
Tarantulas.
yeah, and I've even busted through tarantulas with their quills shooting at you. But anyway,
Yeah.
so I busted through the brush in a similar area in that area one year, but this was in the summer, and I came up right up nose to nose with a big moose, and luckily it had just woken up because it wasn't interested in stomping me to death.
Okay, Jeff, I got to ask Jeff, do you have any photos? Did you supply Jeff photos of the porcupine or any of that?
I don't have any.
Okay.
I probably lost about, I sent him a lot, but unfortunately I was jumping across a stream right next to a waterfall one day, and my phone flew out of my pocket and went under the waterfall. So I lost about probably 3,000 photos.
Oh no.
Because I didn't know how to do the backup on Google yet and stuff. Now I do. So that was one of them on there, and then, but Dan, I lost some really good stuff.
Would you mind if we start putting some photos up and
no,
we can
that'd
just
be great.
randomly talk about them? So it doesn't matter, Jeff.
Show.
Yeah, whatever
Okay.
you want to put up, Jeff.
Just start at number one, and we'll
start at number
one.
one.
I'll run them in the order that he sent them to me. Here.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Okay, this is something I've seen quite often, and this is really going to probably be debatable, of course, like it all is, which makes it kind of fun. But I've seen these fishing weirs, which is basically stacked rocks to channel fish, and to create an area where you can rush the fish up the water channel into these little walled off areas, and you can noodle the fish out. And in this AI picture, he's actually got a little dart where he's poking the fish or whatever, like a fishing spear, just a sharpened stick. Because I found a lot of modified sticks around, and I can't guarantee that they were used for this, but that was my speculation. And then the other guy's got a nice fish snack there. But
yeah, obviously. Well, let me just let our audience know. Obviously, everything we're going to talk about is speculation.
Right.
But don't throw out the speculation. It gives you, when you're out in the field, things to look for and to help confirm what Ray has found. You find a fishing weir like this, look for sticks, look for modified sticks.
Right.
Sticks that have been not sanded, but ground down on stone, sharpened.
And it's a good thing to look at in the sandy beaches for footprints, of course,
Right.
twisted branches, this kind of thing. But the thing about the fishing weirs is, in some places it's illegal to do that for humans. The fishing game or game and fish, whatever they call it in your area, would really frown on this kind of noodling. So there's that. But I'm not saying people all obey, the rules. And sometimes people build these so they can go skinny dipping or whatnot.
Sure.
But
all right.
Unfortunately or fortunately, I haven't seen any of that there.
All right. Here's the next one.
Okay. this is back to the wooden implements. Digging sticks are common all over the world. And, if you go into Cambodia, Vietnam, and whatnot, people are using digging sticks to dig up roots, tubers, and even small subterranean mammals and grubs and things. And so the Sasquatch in the foreground has a digging stick, and he's digging, for maybe a root or a tuber. And I can tell you that it's my speculation that they could probably smell edibles under the ground just walking by, because I have a chocolate lab that's a real good sniffing hunting dog, and it can be walking around or chasing a ball or hunting, whatever, and it could smell something under the ground and start digging. And I know bears have this ability to smell things miles away, even in someone's trunk of their car and whatnot. And I've seen where bears move rocks and dig down and get tubers and whatnot. Well, anyway, in any case, I think that just from experience, they're going to be able to see the green top of the plant and know there's a tuber there. They would identify the plant and dig up the tuber. They have bitterroot. The Bitterroot Valley in Montana is named after a certain tuber called the bitterroot, which has a pretty white flower. And you dig down, and the Native Americans would have a seasonal trek to that area for that food resource. So it's a good source of carbohydrates. So I've seen digging sticks out there, and I've seen holes. So. And the other guy in the background is got a tree knocker, and maybe he's saying the potatoes are ready to eat or what. But
well, if tree knocking, if they're using trees to beat on, that is tool use. Even if they're just grabbing a random log to beat on a tree, that's tool use.
Right. And I want to, just in case, I know a lot of people are talking about, and I'm not saying this doesn't transpire or whatever, but that the sounds made by beating the chest like a gorilla, or clicking the mouth like in the African Bushman can make a real loud click.
Yep.
But if you look at the BFRO, it's BFR report number 37275, and the Ocala National Forest, there in Florida, that we have an eyewitness account of tree knocking. So there was a fellow that his side-by-side quad broke down, or his Jeep or something, and he was waiting for help, and he observed a Sasquatch, and it proceeded to do tree knocking right in front of him. He recorded it with BFRO, and so that's a pretty serious thing that you don't really call in and do a review on a store unless you're angry or something, or else you're really happy. So he's obviously was inspired enough to do that report, which is not very common. So anyway, I've found many of those what I consider tree knocking sticks throughout the woods. And in one particular case, and I kind of tried to make this picture. I didn't draw it myself, by the way, but I found one where I actually heard the tree knock, and I started doing transects back and forth, see if I could find footprints, is what I was looking for. I didn't find any really good footprints, because it's really hard to find good footprints in this area, because it's a hard substrate with a powdery ash from the Mount St. Helens explosion still on the ground here. So you can see them in the dust, but they're not castable. But in any case, I found a lot just like the one in the picture, leaning up against a tree. So I thought, well, that's pretty good evidence, but nothing that will stand up in court. So you can go to the next one or whatever. Okay, this is something that I found twice.
Say,
And
Ray, can I stop you? I'm sorry.
yeah,
How were the ends on that knocker stick? Were they cut? Were they twisted? Was it just dead wood that was laying there for?
yeah, I still have a couple of them.
Oh,
And
really?
my dog ate some of them when I wasn't paying
Oh.
attention. But yeah, they're actually
How?
snapped
What
off.
diameter? I want to know what diameter and.
To me, it's like finding a dowel, a dowel about 1.75 inches.
Okay.
So the same size as like a water pipe in your
Okay.
house.
And then how are the ends finished? What were they? Were they worn? Were they
Well, the most of them are just snapped off, like
snapped?
not too modified at all.
But
Uh,
age, was the wood old, new?
Actually, dry, almost like you would say drift type wood. Like
Okay.
you know how driftwood gets
Yeah.
hard
Yep.
and gray.
Yep.
All most of the ones I found were hard and gray, like they'd either been in the water a long time or been
Okay. So they were old.
been in use. And there's definitely use wear and signs of modification. And in
Okay.
fact, one of them it looks like someone actually worked it down into the shape of a baseball bat type thing.
How long were they?
They're all about 1 yard long.
1 yard. Okay.
Yeah, all within that range. But then you have to think: am I just picking up the ones that are 1 yard long and
Right.
not recognizing the ones that are 2 yards long? I don't know. But
Sure.
the ones that I found were all about 1 yard long and about maybe 1.75 inches or a little bigger. And
Okay.
signs of use wear, battering, signs of modification, and that sort of thing. Yeah, so
All right, we can go back to where you wanted to go. I'm sorry.
it's okay. That's no big
I
deal.
wanted more information on those sticks.
Yeah. Well, every
Right.
time I tell you about it, I learn more myself because I have to think about like the context I found it in and whatnot.
Yeah.
But this one and this one here, I found twice, and what they are is in the Northwest they have these massive ant mounds, and they're usually in flat areas, not where there's hills or boulders, but in the flat areas between where there's wide spots among the trees, and they'll pile up dirt about 2 or 3 feet, sometimes 4 feet, and then cover it with pine needles. I'm not sure if the ants cover it with the pine needles or if it's just deadfall, but it looks pretty much like the ants put those around there maybe to keep erosion away and maybe insulate the ant hill hive type scenario there. But anyway,
Almost like they're farming the ant.
yeah, right.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And so anyway, but if you go up to those mounds, and a couple times I found sticks that I just assumed someone was poking the ants, right? And then so I'd seen it before, the modified, elongated, straw-shaped sticks. I can't remember the name of the plant, but I finally identified the name of the plant that they seem to use every time, but I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, they modify it down to a stick, like an arrow shaft. In fact, the same plants used for arrow shafts from the Native Americans when they were in that stage. But anyway,
Well, if you think of it, tell us.
okay. But anyway, so they take that those plants grow in an Iparian environment, which means like near a stream, near a pond, near a lake, where Iparian type plants grow, like reeds and cattails and whatnot. But they're found in ant holes that are in dry upper areas, plateaus. So someone has transported those sticks to the ant hole and modified it. So Jane Goodall, I think it was 1963, found that this same practice was being done by chimpanzees
Hmm.
in Africa.
Okay,
And
so, all
it
right,
was
all right. Stop the truck, Ray. Okay, so you saw a similarity between the antholes here and what Jane Goodall discovered.
exactly.
Okay, I just want
And
that's
so they were using it with termite mounds and ant mounds, I believe, in Africa.
Yep.
And then here, um, if they don't have termite mounds here, but they do have the ant mounds. But the thing about it is, yeah, it was the same behavior between the chimpanzees ant fishing or insect fishing and what I consider this Sasquatch ant fishing here. 'Cause the difference is I was finding them like sitting alongside or on the side of the mound, and then one day I came riding up on the horse, and it was in a deep wooded area. I mean, same scenario, flat spot between trees. The ants love it there. They can burrow, they can stack up, and um, anyway, so I was riding up on it, and the stick was in the hole with ants crawling up. And since that was a couple of years ago, and since then I found it one other time, the exact same scenario. The stick was still in the orifice of the ant hole.
are the ants attracted to the saliva of an animal? In other words, they're putting the
They
stick
could be. I never thought of that. I know that if you mess with ants, they get pissed and climb up whatever's there. But
Oh, okay.
once the saliva's on there, and they may be putting other things on it too, like
Right.
I know certain apes will take leaves, bitter root leaves, and rub it all over their body so they won't get mosquito bites. And they might use other leaves that attract uh, insects and things and rub them on the stick. I never thought of that till now, but it's possible.
That's yeah. That hadn't occurred to me either. But when the chimps do it, they kind of chew on the whole length of the stick, and
Yeah.
that could very well be wise to put saliva on there. That's a
Yeah,
really good insight.
that's true.
Doug.
They might be going up to munch on the saliva. Might have a nice smell.
Yeah.
We'll have to try that.
Really, yeah.
We'll have to try it at home, Ray.
Yeah,
Lick a stick and put it by an ant mound and see if they're attracted to it.
You can chew on the
that'd be
stick.
interesting.
I'm not doing it. You can do
Well,
it.
a lot
Jeff.
of things in nature like that have the symbiosis, the symbiotic relationships between
Yeah.
species. It's almost uncanny how it works. I mean, the exact right mineral in the soil, the exact right plant comes out, the exact right insect eats it, the exact right predatory animal eats that plant, and then that mammal gets eaten by a predator, and then
Yeah.
so the
It really is
symbiotic
amazing.
relationship, and then those animals defecate and fertilize the plant that drops the needles that they use for their. So it's all interrelated.
Yeah, it's really amazing how that stuff works.
Interesting. All right,
Everything
let's
in
switch
nature
the
makes sense.
picture. I want to keep going. Come on, Jeff. Switch it up.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, this one here, I find these poles through the woods, and what I found is it's the tip of a lodgepole pine, and they call them lodgepole pines because the Native Americans on the Great Plains would take these poles and use them as their teepee poles. They're perfectly straight, they're very long, and they're very sturdy. And with this very little modification, you make the teepee poles, and so they call it the lodgepole pine because they use them for their lodge poles, obviously. But when I was at Cal State Northridge, I worked at the Archaeological Research Center there, and Dr. It's been a long time. Dr. Nancy Walter. She was the anthropologist that worked with the Northern Paiute in Bishop, California, and Mammoth Mountain area. Let's see, what was it? Reservations. So her and her husband picked me up and brought me there, and I was to do flint knapping experiments, not really experiments, but just basically reverse engineering of the ancient tools found in their reservation, and teach the people who wanted to know the process again. Like, it's a reculturalization project. So that was really fascinating. And one of the things they did is they had an annual pinion nut gathering, and they still do that. And so we all got in backup pickup trucks and we drove out to the pinion forest, and they set tarps under all the trees, and they brought out these big poles made out of wood like that, and started whipping the trees. And when they whipped the trees, all these nuts came down, and the nuts fell out of the cone. And then they would take the nuts and put them in water, and if they floated, they were no good. And then winnow those out. They'd winnow them out. But the reason I thought about Sasquatch is you don't only need it for, you don't have to only use them for pine nuts. You can use them to knock down squirrels, knock down birds' nests to retrieve the eggs.
Right.
And there's all kinds of things you can use. You know, to with these poles, and they're very long, so you could get up at the top of a tree without climbing it. So, like a Sasquatch that had great size and a tree that didn't, you would use these poles to access food items, or some other natural thing that they'd use, like maybe even the bird's nest as a container or whatnot. I don't know, but anyway, so I have found those poles out there in the woods. It's just, if you wouldn't even think of it, but, you're riding by or walking by and you see a random pole that's been not modified. And it happened enough where I speculated this hypothesis, but and that's why the one Sasquatch is eating an egg and the other one's trying to knock down some pine nuts. The other thing that those same poles are used, they have multi-uses, but I've seen them where they've been used to pry open hollow logs, but I'll talk about that when the slide comes up.
Okay, move on.
So here's the mortar and pestle theory, and this is the same activity, the same motor skills, muscle memory, and everything that you use to flint knap, and that you also use to clank rocks together to make sounds like warning sounds or communication sounds when you clank rocks. The same motion is used to crack open acorns and this sort of thing, nuts, seeds, grass seeds, those type of things that have to be cracked through the hard cortex to reach the meat inside. So, yeah, I've seen this type of thing laying around, but this is an opportunist type of thing. You got the seeds, you got the nuts, you're sitting by a riverbed, you just pull up the flattest rock and and a hammerstone of a cobble-sized rock and start pounding away. So it's nothing that's super modified. It's nothing you would carry with you. None of the artifacts that this creature or this species carries, in my opinion, they don't bring anything with them. They don't carry anything. Everything is opportunistic. They grab it, they use it, they move on. And otherwise, they wouldn't be so concealed.
Have you found evidence of them using such a method as depicted?
Yes, I mean, like I said, it's all speculation in all of our research. But yeah, I found exactly this site right here, but minus the Sasquatch. And all through the forest, you find the pounded up pine cones, and a lot of times I got fooled once, well, more than once, I'm sure, but this one time that I found this huge pile of debris, pine cone debris, and I was taking pictures and I was real excited. And I said, man, it's got to be some kind of ape or something, or, Sasquatch type hominid or something. And then as I was taking pictures, a black squirrel came up with a pine cone to that area. And it had been peeling these pine cones and getting the seeds. So I kind of got overzealous on that. But, when you see it, when you see it in context with the rocks and it's been smashed, then, it's a little bit more intriguing. And of course, if you could find that in context with a footprint or an actual Sasquatch, then it would be really intriguing. So, gotta keep looking. And then this one I just threw in there because I was practicing with AI, but it just brought up an interesting concept. Because
it looks like Johnny Winters.
It
I
is
was
Johnny
thinking the
Winter.
same thing.
Oh no!
Yeah, you and I were talking about Johnny Winter a
Oh,
couple
really?
months ago because you said
I
you
used
said
to-
you used
I
to
used
hang
to
out
hang
with
out.
his
I
drummer.
used to hang out with his drummer. Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason I left it in
Monterello.
there, is, okay, I was at a lake an alpine lake in Montana with my son, and I was playing my banjo, right? And so I play my banjo, and he's making a funny video and whatnot, and it was really an isolated place on this lake. Anyway, I mean, really pretty far in. Not that that's a precursor. I don't think that Sasquatch only is in the deep woods. I think that it comes around the outskirts of human occupation
The
as well.
fringes. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there's actually 4 subspecies or 4 individual species. But anyway, I'll talk to you that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
But anyway, so right after I put the banjo down, and I was telling you my son has Sasquatch derangement disorder, so he does not like to talk about Sasquatch, and he doesn't believe in it. It makes him angry, all this sort of thing. But I put the banjo down and I went to look at the phone to see how it came out, And as soon as I put it down, we both heard the loudest tree knock I've ever heard.
Really?
Yeah, and it wasn't like in the area we were. It was across the lake where there is no roads, nothing, just a
Okay. So, all
foggy
right.
tree line on the other side, a huge tree knock.
Okay, we got to back up now. So you're playing it's a banjo?
Yeah,
You're playing
this is one of those national dobros that Johnny's playing here. But
Okay. So you're playing this instrument, you quit, and right after you quit, it lets you know it's not happy, you stop playing.
Either that or it's saying if you play again, I'm going to nail you with this.
Right, exactly. One of the two.
But anyway, it was a response. So
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that only
the
because
funny thing is though, but if you saw it in context to where it happened, I think I have a video online.
I just can't believe you put Johnny Winters in there. That's just so Ray. That's so Ray Harwood right there.
Yeah.
But anyhow, okay. So, I got to just mention my story real quick. As I was up north, and we did an experiment with a guy who could sing really good. So we went out there, and instead of anybody yelling, we just had him sing a cappella. Right? He's just singing, but it was kind of cool. And then the moment he quit, we all got blasted with a stink.
Wow.
And then we walked a quarter mile. I said, go ahead and do it again. Sing. He sang and sang. And then all of a sudden he quit and we got blasted with a stink.
Wow.
It was really weird. We did it like 3 or 4 times. And every time the singing stopped, we got blasted with a stink. So there you go.
That's amazing. Yeah. I was going to try that again, but I'll have to go by myself next time. But he had to admit, he says, yeah, I heard it. He says, I don't know what to tell you about it, but because he really wants to be an avid, unbeliever of Sasquatch.
Yes. Avid unbeliever.
But he took me up, I think I'd broken my leg or something. So he took me up to see Dr. Jeff Meldrum at a show. And he went in and right after the show, he kind of had like a little bit of interest, like, wow, that's pretty convincing. But then like the next day it was gone.
Okay. Let's get. I'm sure you got a lot more. Let's keep it going.
Okay, this was like actually for the magazine. I was doing an article about the rock apes of Vietnam, and but I used the photo for the rock throwing. As if you go back, for people that are into the experimental lithic technology aspect of archaeology, a guy named Dr. Don Crabtree is like the father of modern lithic technology in the United States. Not like in Europe as much, but anyway, he pioneered it here, and he wrote like an encyclopedia of the terms for lithic technology, and one of them is the most basic part of flint knapping is taking that the outer cortex, the hard outer skin, like if you say a cobble was a potato and you got to take the skin off before you make French fries. It's the same concept. You have to what they call decorticate or take off the cortex of the cobble before you can start flint knapping. And he said the most basic way to get in through that hard cortex is throwing the rock against another rock that's bedrock. And then once that initial decortication flake comes off, then you can use that open interior of the rock to decorticate the whole thing before you start. So you reduce it before you, it's a reduction and then a manufacture after the reduction. So part of the reduction phase, he said, especially on a really tough lithic material, is the throwing process. So, and then of course you have chimpanzees that use rock throwing against hollow logs as almost a spiritual thing that they found them doing. I don't know if it was bonobos or chimpanzees, but they found them throwing cobble-sized rocks about the same as in this image at hollow logs, and there was piles of these rocks underneath the log, underneath the hollow tree, not log, but standing tree. And they've been noted to throw rocks at humans. And I was at the zoo when I was a kid on a school trip, and one of these apes picked up his own turd and threw it at the audience. It was hilarious. But throwing is definitely a technology. I don't know if you'd call it a technology, but it's definitely something that apes do. They like to throw things.
That's a great image, by the way. That's a really, really cool image.
Yeah, I was really surprised how great it came out. Because actually, I just got introduced to this AI. My nephew let me use it. And I was thinking, man, this is way better than I was ever using.
Yeah, that's a great picture. It just looked really good.
All right, let's. I learned a new word too, decorticate.
Yeah, don't get it mixed up with the F one, though.
Big difference.
All right, now here we have a spear and a fish.
Okay, up in Humboldt, on the Indian reservation there, or Native American reservation, I don't know. They don't call it that, but we got to be correct in our political analysis. But the shoot, I can't remember the name of the reservation. It'll hit me when it's
the title of the picture is Oma, Ohma.
Yeah. So Oma is the name of their legendary Sasquatch in the area, and I was talking to several people in the area, and this is like maybe 20 years ago. I went up there, and Oma, there's a statue in Willow Creek of Oma, and he's modeled after. Actually met the guy who carved it, but anyway, he carved it after the Albert Ostman drawing. So it has like the the Beatles when they first came out, bangs and stuff. But it's called Oma, and that was their traditional word for it. And in their stories, Oma actually made not arrows, but I guess arrows and spears, and he would tip it with poison uh, stone points. And it's interesting to note that in the interior of Oregon, there's a place called Glass Buttes near Burns where the obsidian's quarried. And the natives there, the Native Americans, would say that the red obsidian has spiritual poison. So also they have what they call soaproot growing there in the Aperian areas, like the water areas, the confluences where, where there's a confluence between two streams or a river and a stream, the confluence there. They have what they call a soaproot growing. And the soaproot is a tuber, like we were talking before, they'd get a digging stick, dig up the soaproot. And when you pulverize the soaproot with a mortar and pestle, like we saw before, and throw it in the water, it makes a soapy froth, thus the name soaproot. But it has an effect on the fish. It plugs up their gills. So it's not a true poison, but its consistency is like glue. It plugs up the fish's gills and they float up.
Wow.
And they're passed out because of lack of oxygen.
That's how I feel right now with the smoke.
Yeah, me too. So anyway, so then they just go and gather the fish. So the Native Americans, from what this one fellow was telling me, they learned that from the Sasquatch. And then I went into a wood carving cabin. A guy was carving bears and Sasquatches and whatnot out of redwood, because it's a redwood forest there in that area of the Humboldt, closest to the ocean. And so I think it's called the John Muir Woods is one of the areas there with redwood trees. Anyway, so I was talking to the guy as he carved me a Bigfoot that I still have. I did a great job, but just as like a foot tall one. But he was telling me when his grandfather first came in as a pioneer along the Oregon Trail, and they ended up settling in that area. His grandfather would see the Sasquatch families bathing in the Eel River. So it all matches together, the Native American stories and legends and their artwork and whatnot. And then you go in, this historic pioneer people came in and they have their stories of Sasquatch. And then you have, the modern Bluff Creek is not, far from there. And then you got the first fairly credible film, all in that, and it all is in the same area.
I've got a question for you, Ray. Marianne brought up a question about, do I or does anybody in the panel here think Sasquatch can hold their breath longer than people? I would say yes. It would be my guess. I consider them water apes. I mean, I do. What do you? So these artifacts is my question. Do you find these normally near water, within like 500 yards of water?
I would say, I would say yes. Probably. Okay. I haven't really sat down and thought about it, but I think you're probably right. And
well, in the future,
as far as aquatics, just think about the skunk ape, which is, I guess, if you have 4 types of Sasquatch, you can have an albino midget next to Magic Johnson, and you'd swear that was 2 different species, right? But they're both human. So I think we talked about that before. There's a gradient between of the single species. There's a really large diversity, and then they have Bergman's law, which is the Bergman's law is that Bergman said that the farther north you get, the more robust an animal is. And
Yeah,
so
well, it
south would,
retains heat. Yeah, the bigger you are,
right,
the
right.
more you retain heat.
Yeah, so like if you were in Alaska, yeah, you'd have the big type 1 patty type robust um, Sasquatch, and then down in Florida where it's south, you would have, you know, the you know the skinny, lanky, not so tall type Sasquatch, which I think are very aquatic, and I think they even maybe go into the alligator dens and beaver dams.
Well, and back up to Marion's question too. You know, they have that great big barrel chest. Bigger
Right.
lung capacity. Bigger lung capacity means they can hold their
Exactly.
breath longer.
Right.
They probably have
Exactly.
they probably have a bigger heart too. So bigger
If,
heart,
if
Yeah.
I
bigger lung
if I had a
capacity.
drum in front of me, Jeff, that'd get a drum roll.
Well, I think also,
That's good. It's true.
I
Yeah,
lost my train of thought.
everything has to make sense. I mean, it's what you know. Everything fits together and makes sense.
Mhm.
It just does.
So okay, so what is this picture depicting? We got a Native American guy with
Okay,
a spear.
this was what I was talking about, the crossing of the Bering Strait. In the
Right.
background, you have a Clovis man
Right.
with his famous Clovis point.
Yep.
And I've been told that, Sasquatch wouldn't have come over the Bering Strait. There wasn't enough food. However, we had mammoths and bison and other megafauna coming across, and Homo sapiens. So I think there was, you know, and then if you break down the food types, uh, it's almost endless, you know, from the insects, the plants, fish, you know, birds and eggs. And there's just so much food, even in the tundra. Um, you know, people live on ice sheets and get by very healthily. So
Yeah.
I don't buy into there wasn't enough food. Um, I think it took generations to get across. Uh, anyway, I lost the train of thought. But anyway, the guy in the back's Clovis man, and he had highly refined lithic technologies. And the Sasquatch in the front, getting ready to, he's getting ready to butcher that bison. Uh, Actually, that's a Danish dagger, which is like the epitome, the ultimate uh, lithic technology. And the reason that would be is they actually the Danish people developed that in the Bronze Age to so poor people could have the same shaped dagger as the rich guys that had the bronze daggers. But that's another tale. But um, basically, what I'm thinking is that the concept is similar. They're both Stone Age peoples and have a completely different lithic technology. The guy's holding a knife, the Sasquatch fellow, and it's got large flake detachments. And then you look at the guys, you can't really see it in the picture, but the Clovis man had very refined flake detachments. And you get the, you know, the kind of the, I can't think of the word, but kind of a not really crude, but more unrefined uh, Sasquatch tool of harder lithic material.
Yeah.
It's a lithic material that the Clovis man wouldn't even bother picking up. To make a Clovis point, you have to use what they call pressure flaking, where you press the flakes off with a deer antler, and it takes precision and perfect muscle coordination, eye-hand coordination, and that sort of thing. And the percussion method blade that the Sasquatch fellow is holding is like, you know, you hit it at certain angles with a rock until you get it sharp, basically. And
Yeah.
there's no refinement. And when you're done with it, you throw it aside.
Yeah,
And
a real
so,
Clovis point is just beautiful. I mean,
yeah,
it's an impressive technology how they did such a beautiful job with those
yeah,
Clovis
it's a
points.
beautiful art form. And
It is.
I talked to people back when, you know, shoot, when I was like 40 years ago, you know, when they were trying to when there was a lot of different theories about the Clovis lithic technology. And there's a big, long, fluted chip out of the center of the point from the base to the tip, which is extremely hard and delicate to manufacture. And it has a fairly high abortion rate. So you spend half the day maybe making this projectile point, from collecting the rock to processing the rock to reducing it and then manufacturing it to this perfect arrowhead or spear point. And then you take the long flake off, which a good portion of the time splits it in half, and you got to start over. So and some people said well, it's for bloodletting. The channel in the middle of the point was for bloodletting, and then other people said no, it represents a flame, which is like kind of symbolic. So there's a lot of different theories. But anyway, to compare and contrast, you got two species of Stone Age people, or animals, or mammals. One highly expertise, and the other guy get the job done and throw it aside.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. All right, there's the next one. And this depicts what?
This is what I was talking about with those lodgepole pine tips, using them as pry bars.
Okay.
So I've seen a couple times them using a lodgepole pine tip modified into a pole and used to pry open hollow logs. And in this case, it shows them like prying, there's a porcupine in there. And then the guy in the background has two poles, and he's found a crack, and he's trying to work that pole into the crack while the other guy is using it as a fulcrum and lever, prying up on one side. And I've actually got photos in the Gmail ones I sent you of actually logs, several logs sitting side by side, pried open. Those pry bars are still sticking out.
Yeah, and for our radio audience, this shows a Bigfoot prying out a porcupine that's in a hollow log.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
And
All
I've
right,
seen
let's throw another one up, Jeff. There we go.
Okay, now this looks like flint knapping because it's the same percussion method. One hand holds the core or the lump of material you're going to chip, and the other one is the hammerstone. So this guy, say if he was right-handed, the right hand would be the hammerstone, and the lithic material would be in the left, and vice versa for left-handed. But in this one here, I tried to replicate what they were finding there in the Olympic Peninsula, where they found nests with clanking rocks in context with the nests were these two matching cobbles. Like, they look really similar. And so I tried to kind of replicate what was going on there. And they speculated, and they're probably right, is that they were clanking these together as like so the infants could hear where they were at all the time, or maybe calling them back in the afternoon, or to warn them that there was some kind of predatory thing going on. And I also think that they might have used them to crack open maybe some kind of seeds or something like that.
I have a tape I want you to listen to, Ray. Maybe I'll get you the link tonight. You can listen to it.
Okay.
It's really interesting. A lot of rock activity.
And then Dr. Meldrum was, I talked to him I cornered him at one of the conventions, and I probably wear his brain cells out quite a bit. It's kind of funny because he gets kind of I don't know. He's really got a lot of patience, put it that way. But anyway, the jaw, the Sasquatch has theoretically a sagittal crest, and that's the cone on his head is a sagittal crest, which is a bony structure that goes from the forehead back to the back of the skull, It's very mild by the forehead, and it gets bigger and bigger in the back, like a dog skull. And then massive muscle fibers connect to the top of to the sides of the sagittal crest and down to this immense jaw. So they have immense pounds of pressure coming down from that jaw. So they don't need tools for many things because their teeth and their jaw is a toolkit in itself. Like a moose or something like that has the massive jaws and can eat wood and whatnot, and fibrous wood type plants. But the thing is, and I suppose if you had infants, you could chew the food for them and then regurgitate it into his mouth, like some species of animals do, like seagulls and whatnot. But there's certain circumstances where it would really aid them, and it's an opportunist thing. Hey, there's 2 rocks. I think I'll make it a little easier to eat these seeds. Or I'm feeding a baby, and so I'm just going to grind up these tubers or something like that. Or you have a rabbit, and you grind it into mush, and then feed the baby and stuff like that. So I think there's instances when tools are very effective, even if they're opportunistic tools that are already just naturally formed. So they pick up the ones that fit their hand nicely. And then there's the thing about the Freeman casts of Sasquatch hands, it's either a non-opposable thumb or moderately opposable. And so it would make it very difficult for them to do fine motor skills, like humans have the perfect opposable thumb for those things. But I did an experiment where I went down to a cobble beach on the Spokane River, and there was like quartzite cobbles all up and down, mixed in with granite cobbles and stuff, like just perfectly like roundish, ovoid type cortex cobbles. And I tried to flint knap the material, and I got a couple rocks that, this is really tough stuff, but you can flake it. It gives that conchoidal fracture, which is like a clamshell type shape chip coming off. So like when you shoot a BB in glass, it makes a conchoidal or clam shaped hole on the other side of the BB on the glass. So I found a rock that could do it, and then I taped my hands so I could not use my opposable thumbs, but I could still make crude tools.
Interesting.
I wish I was there to see that, Ray.
Yeah, I'm sure some of the people who saw me thought I was pretty weird. Look, that guy's got duct tape on his hands and he's banging rocks together.
I wish I would have been there. Oh my goodness. It's all right. It's all in the name of science, right? Okay, what do we see here? We see a deer with antlers laying on the ground, and a Bigfoot with 2 pretty good size log.
This one I was kind of indicating tree knocking, but also that he had clubbed that kind of a combination of an elk and a moose, I think, but I guess it's a big elk. So anyway, so he clubs it's my perspective that some of the larger animals that I know the deer, there's been people that witnessed them being tackled and whatnot. But I think that with the larger ones that are a little bit more formidable, they would knock them out with a club. It's the same motion as a tree knock, or whatnot. So and then there's the one I do have an eyewitness. Where is that eyewitness? An eyewitness to clubbing.
You do, huh?
Yeah, I got that. Okay. It's called the Bosco Olson encounter. And this one didn't make it into the BFRO, but it was in a local Alaska newspaper. and it says to understand the magnitude of Bosco Olson Sr.'s July 4th sighting, one must first picture the place itself, Hooper Bay, of I can't pronounce that word, but it's in Alaska western coastline, and the Yukon Kuskokwim Delta. And in any case, he got video of a walrus being clubbed and a Sasquatch bobbing up and down, butchering it on the beach.
Was this the Skookum Delta? Or
Uh,
I-
I'm not sure. I haven't really been to Alaska.
oh,
My
it's in
son lived there for
Alaska.
a while. My son lived there for a while. But
Okay, never mind. Never mind.
But anyway, so it's well documented. If you Google it, it'll come up, and you can see the video. But it's pretty compelling. Yeah. So
And the guy claimed that he had witnessed a Bigfoot.
guy, yeah. Well, the Bigfoot's actually in the video.
Oh,
Yeah, it's in context. You can see
What?
you can see the dead walrus, and
look it up, Jeff. Look it
Yeah,
up now.
yeah,
That's digging.
you can see him. You can see this. It's a Native American guy. It's this from my perspective. I haven't seen it in a while, but
Can you spell it?
He's watching a walrus being butchered by a Sasquatch who has
Okay.
carrying a club in his hand.
Well, let's see if we can find it. How do you spell it again, Ray?
You got it?
No, I'm
No,
still
we need to
digging
know
here.
how to spell it.
Okay, well, let me look it up. I'm really bad at anything to do with grammar and whatnot. So,
Is that right?
okay. Oh, here it is. Okay, so it's Alaska Bigfoot. Probably Google Bosco Olson Hooper Bay Bigfoot encounter, July 4th and 5th of 2014.
Hooper Bay Bigfoot encounter.
2014, dead walrus.
Huh. I've never heard of this.
No, I mean either.
And you saw this footage, Ray, obviously.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it multiple times.
What are your thoughts?
Given the context of it's a dead walrus laying on the beach in a really isolated place of Alaska,
Yeah.
and some guy's beating on a dead walrus, it would be really weird if it was a human, but it looks like a big, monocolored,
Oh, okay.
to me it looks pretty captivating at least. Let's see.
So out of a scale of 1 to 10, Ray's saying it's at least a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Any
I'm not
luck, Jeff?
finding it here. No, no luck.
Dang
I'll
it.
keep
Can't
looking here.
find it.
Darn.
Sorry, people.
I'll keep
See if I
looking.
can see Olson's.
Oh, well, maybe somebody in our audience can look for it.
Yeah. Oh, here's the next picture. I'll keep looking.
All right, we'll keep it moving.
Okay.
All right,
So
what do we have here? We have like an arch. We have a radio audience too that can't see these pictures. So we have an arch with a very sharp kind of point in the middle of the arch, and we have a triangle on the ground, like an A with a stick across the middle, like an a glyph.
Right.
All right, so explain.
And then there's a Sasquatch
Yes.
taking a bite out of a lizard or something.
Yes, yeah, he's taking a bite out of Johnny Winter's
Yeah.
hat.
So anyway, I never really noticed this before. I've seen these the hoop trees where a sapling is turned into a hoop or an arch or an something like that. Rainbow shape type arch. So I never really thought much about it. I thought, well, it probably got pinned down in the snow, in a heavy snow, and just stayed there. But then I saw other people online saying it was maybe some type of glyph. And then the two sticks. No, there's an ad over it, so I can't see it.
It looks like an ad from Sunset Sasquatch movie, doesn't
Yeah.
it, Jeff?
Right.
Jeff?
Yeah. So the letter A, the capital
This is
letter.
all I could find
there
so
it is.
far.
Yeah.
I can't
That's
find the video. This is a screenshot from it, though.
Okay.
Yeah. So that individual with the long pole or log or whatever is the Sasquatch, and then the lump on the right side is the dead walrus.
Okay.
So it's agitated, so it's walking to the walrus, back and forth, waiting for the Native American dude to leave the scene.
Huh.
But when he first saw it, it was behind the walrus eating it.
So
So
he's
I don't know, a
eating.
lot of humans.
He's
will-
eating ocean-killed walrus.
Right, unless he beat it to death with that pole.
Okay. I got.
But I mean, I don't know a lot of people. Well, I don't know a lot of people in general, but I don't know anybody who eats dead walrus off the beach. But anyway,
Not me.
back to the letter A. This might have. This is just kind of just something interesting, is that in the Vikings, the capital letter A upside down means deer or elk. Because it's it's
Really?
about the V is the face, the nose would be the top of the capital A, and then the bottom, what we call the bottom of the capital A, are the two horns coming out, and then the skull, the cross across the capital A so it's the capital letter A was adapted from a glyph of a deer or
Gotcha.
or goat. So I don't know if that's still what it means, but I find these things all over the place. And from what I understand, in other areas, even Florida and stuff, they're finding the letter A, sometimes like a little bit deviant. The Marie Dumont there in Florida has sent me a lot of glyph pictures, and some of them are the asterisk, which I couldn't find the picture she sent me, but or maybe no, I don't think I could find it. But anyway, it's like an asterisk, like on a typewriter. So it's like a star. There's multi sticks, cross till it makes a perfect asterisk. So it's very complex. And then we have the square here, or the letter H, trail glyph, and they're not only on trails, but they're mostly on trails, but they're also out in the woods. But I've seen those quite a bit, and the squares and the H's with it's an H but with two crosses, like a tic-tac-toe board. She sent me some from Florida, and I've seen them here too. So it's kind of like a known thing that they use this. The glyphs are not random. And then Stephen Strufert from Willow Creek there, that had Bigfoot books, was telling me once that he was clearing out some bushes in his side yard there in Willow Creek, and he found a perfect sticks made into a perfect arrow, like pointing, like you see, like pointing to an elevator in a store or something. And it was a place where no one had been. So he thought that was kind of interesting. And, he took it with a grain of speculation, of course, but I thought it was interesting when he told me that. So they're similar. The glyphs are not, there's it's not like an infinite number of patterns. There's only a few repetitive patterns throughout the United States and Canada.
Interesting. So what do we have here? It's like an Inukshuk. What is that thing?
This is just rock stacking.
Rock stacking. Yeah.
So, of course, humans stack rocks. I found a lot of rock stacks all around.
That's pretty much all I do all day, Ray.
Yeah.
I just sit here and stack rocks. That's
But,
my job.
I mean, maybe if you're waiting for the bus or something.
Yeah, you just stack rocks all day. Okay.
But
Who
I
doesn't?
found a lot of stacked rocks, and I come back and they're not stacked anymore. Then 2 days later, they're stacked again, and
That's cool.
it's of course, a lot people do like have a hobby of stacking rocks, but I talked to Thomas Seward over there on Vancouver Island, and he's pretty convinced that Sasquatch is more of a type of human than like an ape type thing. So I know the first thing that kids do when they get to a campsite, if there's a lake there, is start throwing rocks in the lake. So it's kind of like innate subconscious behavior, stacking rocks and throwing them. And this is just a replica I made to go with the clanking rocks of the Olympic project of the Sasquatch building a nest. And they build them in, I don't think it's huckleberries there, but it might be. I think there's is it gooseberries? I don't know, but they use some kind of berry plants, which are, they grow on vines. So,
it was some type of a plant that had antibacterial property.
Yeah, that makes sense. And like I said, they take leaves of bitter plants and rub them on themselves so they don't get mosquito bites, and ingest them even though they don't taste good, so for the same reason. So they don't want to get ticks, they don't want to get deer fly bites or mosquito bites and whatnot. So I don't know if it works for bees, because I think that they rob honey like on Vancouver Island.
Do you guys, do you have are there a lot of wood ticks in Montana?
Wood ticks?
Yeah, wood ticks.
Yeah, they've had.
No, do you get them when you go out there researching?
Oh, would I get them? I guess sometimes I do. Yeah, I've gotten ticks before.
Who else do you think I'm talking about? I'm talking about you, Ray.
Well, I check my dogs out for ticks, and I check myself and whatnot. But
you don't find many ticks.
I'm really afraid of them though, because
I know, but Montana doesn't have many ticks, does it?
Not that I know of. It depends on this time of year and stuff. But I had one time I was deer hunting with my dad on my grandfather's ranch, and I got a tick on each calf of my leg. Well, now what you do is just put Vaseline on them, and they crawl out because they can't breathe.
Right.
So, but in those days, the pocket knife came out, and he would heat up the pocket knife and dig them out. So
my mom used to take, when I was a kid, I always come back with a wood tick. She would take a hot match and blow it out and then put the head of the match on the back of the wood tick, and it would back out.
Yeah.
So
it's a scary thing.
I remember that and Vaseline.
Yeah.
So I'm and plus you can get.
I never got the
Rocky
Vaseline.
Mountain. I think is it Rocky Mountain fever or Lyme disease from ticks.
All right. So Nick says, Doug, there are very few ticks out west compared to Minnesota. We have a lot of ticks.
Yeah,
there's plenty of them
here.
I know
that the ticks in Minnesota will take down a moose.
I don't want to change the topic. We're going to get back to this tool thing. But do you think there's have you noticed or heard about any convincing symbiotic relationships with other animals and Sasquatches? Symbiotic relationships.
Yeah. In fact, what was it? I was thinking about that. I can't recall it. There was something that was really interesting that in Florida, but I can't seem to remember. But it was something to do with the I can't remember. I was reading.
Don't you hate those brain farts, Ray?
Yeah.
I can't get them too.
Palmetto, the apples.
Palmetto.
The alligator. What do they call them? Crocodile apples or whatever they call them.
I don't know.
Someone knows in the chat, but anyway, gosh darn, I can't remember what it was. Anyway, there is, but I can't remember. Well, I know that the birds.
Wait, I can't even remember.
The birds land on the. I've seen birds land on the back of the moose and eat the ticks off.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that they probably do the same thing on a Sasquatch.
Well, I've had a theory that flying squirrels, because one day I was up on the Canadian border doing some film for Animal Planet, and flying squirrels started landing all over me and crawling all over me.
Wow.
When I was talking to my buddy, then I'd stop talking and the things would all take off. And then I'd start talking to Joe again and they'd land all over me. And and I thought, oh, that's weird. And then I put it away, didn't think much about it. And then all of a sudden one day it hit me. Maybe they were used to doing that on a Bigfoot looking for wood ticks.
Yeah, that could
Maybe
be.
a symbiotic relationship where they groom them at night and, they both win. The Bigfoots get rid of their ticks and the flying squirrels. Yeah. And I thought, well, that's weird. I looked up. Their favorite food is wood ticks, flying squirrels.
Wow, that could be.
So I thought, well, that's cool. I just wondered if that's a
it's a
possible.
I know I read something.
It's as reliable as your damn tool use.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the same thing. It makes sense. You know what I mean? I love it when things make sense. They fit.
Yeah, when you start going down the food chain and looking at the symbiotic relationships, like I think I remember what it is now, that the Sasquatch eat the palmetto apples.
Okay.
And I'm sure I got that wrong, but
I'm sure.
I've been to Florida in a long, long time. But they eat them and then they defecate and it spreads the seeds.
Ah.
And then they also are fertilizing the ground.
I don't think any animals eat palmetto. It's just they don't. I did research on that one.
They're just too nasty,
They're just nasty. No animals eat them. Nothing touches them. But you claim there's an apple in there. Jeff, can you look up palmetto apple?
I think they call them alligator apples or something like that.
Jeff, can you look that up?
Yeah, looking it up. Yep.
You found that picture of the dang walrus.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was pretty cool. I mean, just to see that still picture.
Well, don't you hate it when you can remember, like reading or seeing a video of something, and then you want to reference it and you can't find it?
Well, at my age, I can't even find my glasses anymore.
Well, I can't find my keys half the time.
Gosh, darn, it's tough getting old.
Yeah. That's true.
I love it and I hate it. Well, there we go. So go ahead and read
pond
that,
apple or the alligator apple?
Read the alligator apple.
Apparently alligators eat them.
Yeah.
What? No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
According to Wikipedia.
At least that's what I've read.
Well, read it, Jeff. What does it say?
All right. Annona glabra is a tropical fruit tree in the family, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to say that. Common names are pond apple, alligator apple, swamp apple, corkwood, bobwood, and monkey apple. It's native to Florida in the United States, the Caribbean.
Yeah, it's native to Florida, but they call it a monkey apple. So what do you think?
Yeah. Well, it's also in the Caribbean and Central and South America.
Oh, I can't.
In West Africa.
But are they nutritious? Can you find out whether they're good for you? And
can you make an apple pie out of them?
Yeah, can humans
I'll
eat
do some
them?
reading here.
And does anybody in our chat know
it is
anything
edible. It said the fruit is edible for humans, and its taste is reminiscent of ripe honeydew melon.
Wow.
Oh,
Damn.
Yeah, so that
I want to try one now.
You know those Sasquatch, you're snacking on those. And
well,
so
that's why I'm asking.
There's a picture of an alligator eating one.
Why would an alligator eat a thing that tastes like a honeydew? I thought they liked meat.
I don't know.
They eat apples.
Keeps them regular.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. This show's gotten out of hand. Now we got our guest. He's turning the lights on. Okay.
I've got my tribute
this is something we've talked about.
Okay.
It's an invasive species in Australia and Sri Lanka, so it's our chance to get back at other parts of the world with invasive species.
Aspasia, maybe she knows anything about this invasive apple thing. I just like anything new I haven't heard about because it's like a fruit I've never heard about. Well, that's interesting. Maybe
I got a feeling it might taste like a passion fruit.
Really interesting. Alligators are omnivorous, says Greg. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The hell, Greg?
We always learn stuff here. This is great. I love it.
I didn't have any idea.
No.
So
but we were talking about Bigfoot. We probably should get back to
that. We got to get back to Bigfoot. Okay.
Yeah, I got my tribute to Bob Gimlin right here.
Well, we were talking about Bigfoot because obviously it would be a great food source for Bigfoot.
Yeah. And it would be
They seem like
symbiotic.
they're plentiful.
In fact, it may be a very big staple, a big part of their diet.
So it says the seed it thrives in wet environments. The seeds in the fruit, they fall into swamps and rivers, hence the name pond apple.
Well, palmettos thrive in like northern Florida and Georgia and everywhere I've gone. There's this palmetto forest.
Interesting stuff.
This I can't remember what they call them. It's I called it a photograph, and the AI got angry at me and kicked me out. You're supposed to say facsimile or something. But anyway, this is a facsimile of Sasquatch flint knapping. So, like I say, he's got a hammerstone and the core material, lithic material, in his left hand. So this is a right-handed Sasquatch. And he's got some tools down there by his big feet.
Yeah.
And then the eagle's coming to check it out.
It's fascinating. Now I'm going to have to be thinking about obsidian, and I guess up here in Minnesota they would use probably what, granite or
They use
Flint. There's
It
good
has
flint
to
in
be like a
Minnesota.
real.
Okay.
Yeah.
we have flint up here.
It's called
Lake
silica,
Superior.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Lake Superior area's got really, really, really good flint.
I'm not the
World
rock
renowned.
guy. Eric is. Eric's the rock guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've actually
agate,
read quite a bit about flint knapping. Interesting stuff.
agate, jasper, flint, chert. It's all, it's silicate. It's glass, basically.
Right. Yeah. Well, when I was down in Belize and I did a lot of spelunking in the caves with the Ministry of Archaeology down there, and we were going in brand new caves that he had found but hadn't gone in yet. And so we were doing that for Discovery Channel, and oh my God, what an experience!
Wow.
That was to find like obsidian things and skulls that were just covered in calcite that hadn't been seen in 1,000 years, and I'd be the first guy to shine a flashlight on them. And
Wow, that's cool.
it was right out of Indiana Jones. But man, I was so happy to get home after that trip. Oh my God. That was a rugged trip. Okay, but obsidian I just remember it was like you touch it and it would be like, oh my God, razor sharp.
Yeah, I would really. I mean, I don't know, but I would be surprised if they would use that, because they're kind of opportunistic, and so it would probably be rare for them to go to like a lithic quarry or a rock quarry, like go to a specific spot like the Native Americans did.
But you think they just
or
take
in
any
Denmark.
kind of rock and chip away at it?
Not all rock can make a cutting edge.
Okay.
So you have to have something to get that clamshell type flake. So there's certain things like andesite, quartzite, and quartz that are really hard that people hate to flint knap, and basalt that hate to flint knap because it's so hard, but a Sasquatch wouldn't have any problem.
All right. And if I hear the word flint napping one more time, we got anything else?
Yeah, go to the next one.
All right.
I'm joking, Ray.
Okay. It's kind of an art project, but I made this for something else because I was just messing around.
I think stop. I think Ray just sent you anything in.
Well, it gave me an idea.
Okay.
In World War II, they had the gremlins.
Yeah.
And like if something went wrong with your plane, you would say a gremlin did it.
Right.
And then I was remembering that in the Bigfoot society there in England, they have all sorts of like legendary mythical animals that resemble Bigfoot.
Right.
And also they have an archaeological site called the Box Grove site, which they have ancient man. And it's an ancient man site. It's Homo heidelbergensis. Homo heidelbergensis.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a Middle Pleistocene type European, Asia, and Middle Pleistocene Africa. Homo heidelbergensis in England. So what are the possibilities of probably not great, but there is a possibility of a species that kind of held on in the a remnant, like a remnant population, and they were met, and maybe these pilots like saw them around the planes and chased them off, or like in the early parts of either World War One or World War Two, and and then it just sort of became the lore of being a pilot of like, oh, the grim, it's got a problem. It's the gremlin. I mean, what if that came from a real encounter from like one of these remnant species or something? So it's just kind of an idea I had this morning when I was checking out, picking
Okay.
photos. So I got this Sasquatch and he's like picking apart him.
Did you
And
just
all
put
of these
this picture
places.
together today?
It was like today or yesterday or something like that.
Wow, it's really a cool picture.
Yeah, so that's a, go ahead.
Oh, just an update. We're at 2 hours and 40 minutes, just so you know where we're at.
Oh, okay. What else do we have?
You want to
Jeff?
just go fast? This
Yeah.
is Native American legends or myths or stories. I don't
Well,
know.
they've taken advantage. Okay, is that tool use if they take advantage of a
No,
Native
what this
American
is
net?
no. There's actual stories of them stealing salmon from the Native Americans' nets.
Right, but is that tool use if they do that?
Yeah, it's tool use. But
Okay.
I don't know if they were actually. I think they were just picking up the nets and stealing the
Right,
fish
but
out.
they're still.
Yeah, they get the concept that
Yeah.
this is a tool, and they're. I don't know if they would actually steal the net and use it, or just steal the fish out of the net. And they were also stealing them out of the smokehouses. And it's not just. There's a lot of stories like that
That's cool.
out there.
We've all heard those. All right, what else we got here?
Okay,
At
go to
the
the next one.
last, there's a series of 3 pictures here is kind of the last thing.
Okay, I found a butt print. So I just
Oh,
wanted to
yeah.
accentuate the
Yes.
booty right there.
Yep.
So
They're thick. They're thick.
Yeah, there's the booty, and that's from climbing up hills, man. You just get big butts, and there's the print.
Check this out.
Okay, so this mud is on the shores of Flathead Lake in Montana, near Swan Valley and whatnot. And this has been there a long time. You can see human footprints all around it. It's compacted. It's filled with sand. So at one point, this was filled with water, and the sediments filtered down to the bottom of the butt cheeks and stayed on the bottom there. So this has been there quite a while. And if you look closely, you can see leg prints also. And yeah, so to me, it looked just like the one that Paul Freeman.
Yeah,
found.
what would make such a strange print?
Yeah, the difference is between this and Freeman's is this is old. This has been underwater.
Oh, we lost Ray.
Yeah, Ray's gone. He's
Lost Ray.
Okay.
The butt print got him.
Underwater.
The butt-
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
This was someone called me, I had to hang up.
Oh,
So anyway, water went over this and it froze. So this was under ice all winter, and then it thawed out. So that's why it's not got the complete detail of Paul Freese's butt print. What was, in Paul Freese's, it sat in the mud, and then it wasn't long before Paul found it. So it's really good detail. You see the hair and the dermographics and all the
and Paul's. But what about this one?
This one
I know
here-
Carl Supp has found butt prints.
Oh,
Other people have, but how
well,
come
this one is
there's no footprints by it? Why?
it's got water and ice wear, and it was sitting in the water, so it's deep enough where it lasted through being underwater, and the butt cheeks were filled with water, and then that dried out and left the sand that was sediment in the water. But when you're looking at it, I took GoPro of it, the whole thing, but I was with someone that has Sasquatch derangement syndrome, so I wasn't able to go get Plasticaster, but it didn't have a lot of detail, but it was obvious what it was.
And then the last picture I got in this sequence is
Okay, this structure is probably 50 feet from the butt print. And so, well, I don't know, it's sort of self-explanatory. It's driftwood logs made into a structure,
Wow.
and the floor in there was covered with sawgrass.
This looks like a very deserted lake.
Yeah, it's Flathead Lake. It's got some places that have human occupational stuff, and then resort even stuff, and then there's whole sections that it's not accessible even. Just to the west of this place is a bird sanctuary where you're not even allowed to go because there's some kind of rare birds doing their bird things. So. Yeah, this is coming out of winter. So this was made in the winter, and it's very inhospitable in the winter in that area because you got this big flat, this mud flats like half a mile from from the land to the water there. It's about a half a mile, and 2 years before this, before I found the butt print, I found structures it was still snow on the ground, but it was melting, and there was footprints all over the place. But you couldn't cast them because they were filled with water, just like those butt prints. But they were pretty good prints, all up in this stuff. This mud is great for preserving prints.
Okay, I want to talk about these just for a second. How do you know these are not like bear tracks? Or, I mean, could you give us some context, the dimensions?
Well, it's like each one of those is bigger than a watermelon, each one of the butt cheeks.
Okay.
And then,
I mean, it looks big.
yeah. And if you in one of the other photos, I have it next to Freeman's butt print, and it's exactly the same size. And then right next to that, I have Patty's butt. And you look at Patty's butt, Freeman's cast, and this, and they're all the same size and shape. They're all female butts. Unless J-Lo is out there sunbathing. Yeah, there we go.
Nice. Just nice. Oh, is that a picture of the Freeman?
Yeah, Freeman's
And then
butt.
we got Patty butt. Yeah,
Yeah.
Lots of butts.
Yeah, no butts about it. But you can see Patty's butt. It's pretty pronounced.
Yeah.
And then you look at Freeman's and Patty's, it looks the same. And then you look at Freeman's, Patty's, and mine, and they look the same, all female butt. It's just mine was underwater, so it doesn't have the detail his does.
Right. Right.
But they're
Okay,
all
so you
same
never
size
did.
and shape.
You never told us about your little quick non-counting encounter that you had with a Bigfoot that you saw.
Is it which one? The one I was telling you about in the icy
driving.
road?
Yeah, well, you were driving.
Okay, it was in Montana in the Swan Valley, and we were coming back. Can't remember, it was a fish hatchery or something, and outside the fish hatchery there was like a creek. I don't know what they call it, Montana stream, I guess. But there was a stream coming out of the fish hatchery. So it was the fish hatchery fish. Some of them had escaped. So this little tiny stream was filled with fish. I don't remember if it was trout or what, but filled with fish that had escaped from the hatchery, or I don't know what age they escaped, but it was a tiny stream for this many fish. So we were kind of watching down and looking at the fish and rock hopping and stuff. Then we went up into the snow, and there was a structure right above this stream. I mean, perfect, like this. You could just munch fish all day long out of the stream and go up and into the structure. I don't know what the structure is for, really, actually. I mean, being a human, a structure is to climb in, but I don't know what that species, if it indeed is a Sasquatch artifact. But right above there was a thing, and then on the way out of there, we hit it was kind of an ice storm, and it was black ice on the road and whatnot, and we were driving back towards Kalispell, and we were going around a curve, and we were kind of sliding a little bit in the black ice and stuff, and I was fighting with the driver about something. And I looked over at him to say some choice words, and in the sawgrass, in the frozen sawgrass, I see this hairy image uh, come up out of the sawgrass to see what the sound was, because no one was on that road. It was just too dangerous to drive. So it what it looked like to me was like a gorilla in the zoo in the sawgrass, leaned up on its left arm, holding something in its right arm. I'm assuming an infant or something, and looked the other way where the sound was coming from, as opposed to looking at the car. And I was kind of just, I'd been looking, spent thousands of dollars looking for, a good view of this thing. And then I see one when I'm with someone with Sasquatch derangement syndrome, driving on the ice in a storm where there's no way we could stop, no way we could pull over, and even if I did, it would have been a fist fight for sure. So that was one of those days. So I just stared at it, and then it kind of was still looking towards the west, even though we were right even with it. And then it kind of went down, and then in the tree line on the other side of the frozen sawgrass, it looked like there was one standing there. So I interpreted it as a female with an infant or a young one, uh, just hiding in the sawgrass, and then, or something, and then hearing the noise and looking up to see what was coming, because there was just nobody driving around in that ice storm. So then the big tall one, I was staring at it so hard, it was kind of like in between like almost a dream looking. It was like it's between reality and a dream somehow, because it was like the glass was fogged up. Uh, we were driving, we couldn't, I didn't even tell the guy what I saw. But then I looked at it and I could see the legs, no detail, just the legs, the arms, and the head, human silhouette, but tall, and one color, black. And then we were gone out of there. And I was just one of those things where you finally get to Somers. We got to Somers, Montana, and I just got out and kissed the ground. So I thought for sure we were going to go off the edge of that road with all that ice. So the only time I actually had I wouldn't say it's a good sighting,
Right.
but I would say it's probably what I would consider the closest thing I've had to one. So then you start second guessing yourself. I mean, it wasn't life changing like some people's, oh, it changed my life. No, it was just like if I saw a moose, it's like cool to see, but, I guess I've been researching it so long that I kind of just to think that they exist, so it doesn't
Right.
shock me at all. But, and then I've talked to a lot of the Native Americans in the area that's seen the same exact thing, the same exact depth. And then there's, like I said, the guy that has the Huckleberry store there in West Glacier, I think, or Hungry Horse, has really good. He employs 180 huckleberry pickers in berry season, and they have phones and stuff, and they've got photographs of the same thing that I saw, and I've heard interviews with them and stuff, and so it's in the context. Like if I was sitting in Los Angeles in an apartment and someone told me this, I'd say, "Oh, you're full of bull," But when you're in the environment itself with other people that are 100%ers, it's a different story. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's a different culture with different, and they're there all the time. And it's just like, Grandpa saw one or Uncle saw one or whatever. So anyway, that was the context of my sort of things. Like John Bendernagel saw one at a ranch in Kentucky when they were doing that genome project. And he said he just didn't talk about it because he saw what looked like a
Right.
Sasquatch walking back and forth by this fence. And he says, and it wasn't life changing for him. It was just like, oh, okay, there it is. I've already seen his footprints, so why is it a surprise to see one? I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah. So, and then I've talked to Daniel Perez, who talks with such um, when he talks about the Patterson Gimlin figure, in that he's so convinced that it's just like, man, it's got to be real, And when I talk to you guys and whatnot, so to me it was no life changing thing. It was just like, oh, I've been trying to find one, and oh, there it is, big. It's like seeing a moose. It's really cool to see, but I don't see why. I guess some people think it's life changing, but the one that really was kind of more interesting than that was. In the Bible, there's this story in Ezekiel called the Valley of Dry Bones, where the guy comes into this valley and there's all these dry bones, and are they going to come alive or not come alive? Are they going to speak? And anyway, I went into this one canyon, and it was just like that. I came walking in, and there was all these bones, all dried white. And so I went down this steep embankment to look at these things, and I found where these logs have been taken and smashed down on these animals, and it looked to me like they were smashed with the logs and then like eaten alive.
Wow.
And so I went down there and I was taking pictures and stuff. The pictures I sent you in the Gmail once. But okay, so there's these dead animals.
You got more pictures, Jeff. I don't know.
They were that was in the Gmail photos, the last one they sent you. But anyway, I'll just describe it. The log is still laying on this contorted skeleton. And then, so I'm taking pictures of it saying, man, this is cool. And I'm thinking, how did this happen? It's got to be Sasquatch. Yeah, there it is. So there was dozens of these. I wouldn't know, that's an exaggeration. Probably 8. It's probably 8 trees laying on skeletons like this.
That's
And some
weird.
of them, some of them still had the heads on. Some of them,
That's really weird.
and it couldn't have happened post-mortem because it would have shattered the skeletons. The skeletons are still articulated. They're still
Right,
together.
right.
So this happened pre-mortem, not post-mortem, while they were still alive. So anyway, some of them had the skulls on, and some of them, the skulls were pulled off and stuff. So I'm taking pictures of it, and it was deer season, so I have like a 270 Winchester slung around my shoulder, and this is when I had like the kind of video camera that's it's digital, but you put a chip in, but it looks like a 35 millimeter, so it's like dangling on my neck, and I have like a day sack on, so and big boots, and I'm walking around taking snapshots and video and stuff because it was so strange. And there was other species too, like even horse and cattle and stuff. So anyway, so I'm walking through the area, taking pictures, and it was kind of like, I don't know if you'd call it a canyon, but like a little arroyo was like to the left of that skeleton and to the right. But there was skeletons all over. So anyway, so I'm taking the pictures, and all of a sudden I hear what people describe as that bipedal walk. And it was something big, and it was coming down the adjacent canyon or arroyo. It wasn't as big as a canyon, but like those dry riverbed type things with a hogback on both sides. So
Right.
it's coming down the arroyo on the other side of me, and so I'm looking and waiting for it to appear in front of me because I'm looking down one canyon. It's coming up the other one, and it's going to be coming out in front of me any minute, and I could hear it walk. And I mean, it takes a pretty big animal to hear it walk. So, and it sounded, I don't know how to describe it, but you can sort of tell it's bipedal for some reason, because I've had moose come through like in the same scenario and go, oh no, that moose gonna attack me or not, or a range bull or something. But this sounded like stomp, stomp, stomp. And so I didn't know what to do. I says, okay, do I take the safety off my deer rifle and shoot this thing if it's coming at me? do I pick up my camera and take a picture? But I went with door number 3 and I just ran like hell. So that's why there's blurry photos. Because if you're that
Okay.
close to them, it's a scary
Is that
thought.
okay? I've got another question. So that log that was on that one skeleton, are these logs that were harvested somewhere else? Were they
No,
right?
well, I don't know. That one, it looks to me like a birch tree, maybe.
Right, but I mean, was
Like a
the
birch.
root base or the stump right
It-
there too?
And I
Or w-
can't remember, but it was a whole tree. But like you could see, someone's pulled off the branches and stuff. It's
How
modified.
many skeletons and how many trees?
Probably just the same look like right here. Probably, I'm guessing 6 to 8.
Whoa, 6 to
Yeah.
8 of these
6
bones.
to 8, not 68. But
No,
yeah,
6 to
yeah,
8
it's
of
like
them.
probably like maybe half a dozen.
But they all had a log on top of them.
Yeah, just like this.
Well, that's as
And I don't
weird
know
as
if
it gets.
if they're keeping them alive and just pinning them down.
Well,
like
that's see. Okay, so here's my theory that they break the legs or something, and they just use them like you would use your freezer or your refrigerator.
right.
They're
Keep 'em
not dead.
alive.
They obviously they're going to suffer, but they're alive. They've just injured them so they can't go anywhere. And I could see laying a log on them would
Yeah,
keep them alive, but they wouldn't be able to
it's
move.
contorted like it was pain.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Wow. And if
Some
you
of them
found,
That's cruel.
Some
But
of them
here-
still had
but-
the heads on,
but Ray,
and one of the cows was still a cow. It wasn't a skeleton.
I've talked to people that have found this kind of like a bunch of deer where they've all had their legs broken in one little pile, right? And of
Yeah.
course they find the skeletons, or they find them with some flesh, but the front legs or the back legs are snapped.
Yeah.
Now that's
They're-
being
they're
done.
keeping them alive. and
Yeah. Well, it
like
makes sense.
drinking
What would
their
you
blood
do?
or something.
If you had a chance to catch a deer, good times and bad, but you don't want to, you only want to eat, like one a day or whatever. If there's a herd of deer, you take advantage of it. And then you can come back tomorrow and there's another, they obviously like
Yeah, eat
fresh
the other
meat.
one.
They obviously do not like carrion or rotten meat full of maggots and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's,
Yeah.
if you really think about it, it's quite a bit of information there. Obviously, once again, it's just a theory, but what else would do such a thing?
I don't know.
It's
I
not
know,
a,
I know the game warden out here wouldn't appreciate it if a human was doing it.
yeah, exactly. I don't think a human's gonna
But see, I've come up on
put a log on a live deer. It's like, really?
well,
I
I've
don't
come
think
up
so.
on poachers camps and stuff, but it was the same sort of feeling, like someone's watching me,
Yeah.
and they could probably knock me off it. So I just keep walking, pretend I don't see nothing. But this was sort of that same feeling, but it wasn't a poacher. But
Right.
I never, like I said, as soon as I had to make a decision, I had 3 choices: stay and film or take pictures, just stand my ground with the rifle,
Or run.
or run.
Yeah.
So I was running up this hill. It was really steep. I kept falling, and my hands were like filled with pine needles stuck into my hand. And I kept running, and I finally got to a kind of a ledge, and I looked down. I said, "Okay, I got my camera ready, my rifle ready, my bear spray ready, new underwear ready, that kind of thing."
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm all set, and it never came out. Or if it did, it went
Right.
diverted to the right.
You've
But
had
then-
audio encounters too with unidentified audio
Well,
sounds.
I was talking to.
And by the way, no one knows this. I put a horse on the thumbnail, but you do a lot of your research on horseback.
Yeah, I think that it covers the human scent. It covers the human sound, and I also think that that they hunt ungulates, like you said, like deer and elk and moose. I don't know if they hunt moose, but I'm assuming. But I think that they think the horse is like a big elk coming through the woods. It sounds the same. said they whinny like a moose. I mean, they sound, you know how a horse does all those snotty noises and stuff. A horse sounds a lot like a moose coming through the woods.
Yeah.
So I was almost thinking that when Patterson and Gimlin surprised that Sasquatch, that it was maybe laying it. I mean, we talked about other theories, but my original theories, it was laying in wait, and it thought that was food coming down, and that food's got humans on it, So
well, it could have been. Yeah, absolutely. That could have been. Both of our theories could be right.
Both of them are good
because it could have been laying in wait for a moose, and then it saw it was people, and then if it had a juvenile with it, it went, ooh, I'm going to go distract these dudes. Instead of it turning into the forest, I'm going to walk away out in the open, and they can follow me, and I'm going to go up a hill where the horses can't go, and that's just what happened. Completely out in the open.
The other weird thing I heard, like as far as sounds, wasn't really actually me, and I think I might have talked this on the last time we talked, but I'm not remembering. But I was huckleberry picking, and I saw a pretty good print in the huckleberry plants, and there was a guy that's probably 80 years old picking huckleberries that comes up. We both pick our heads up at the same time and jump a foot because we thought, oh man, it's a grizzly bear, because they ate the huckleberries. And I says, oh man, I thought you were a grizzly bear. And I says, did you see those big tracks? And he goes, yeah, you really think that was a grizzly, huh? So here this guy believes in Sasquatch, so that was kind of interesting. But anyway, so then I go back to camp, and the next morning I have the Coleman stove out, and I'm making like whatever food, and then coffee and whatnot, and this pickup truck pulls up, and the guy comes into camp, and he's talking to me, and he says, I had my old Series 3 Land Rover, those old African type Land Rovers. So he saw it. He goes, "That's an interesting vehicle." And I says, "Yeah, it's I don't remember, it was a '68 or something." Anyway, and there was a big Bigfoot sticker on the window. And he says, "Do you believe in Bigfoot?" And I says, "Yeah, I think I kind of do." And he says, "I got to tell you a story. What happened to me this weekend?" He goes into the story about he's in camp. It's like 3-4 miles from where we were at, and they heard these really scary screams and howls all night long, like the ones you hear, on the recordings and whatnot. And so he says, we were really scared, and then he says he woke up in the morning and he was alone in camp. Everyone bugged out, left him. So when he woke up, he immediately got in his truck and he stopped at the first human being he could come to, because he was kind of, hadn't slept all night, and he didn't, his camping stuff was just basically thrown in. So he got something to eat from me, and he told me the whole story like this. And he said last year in the same area, he was in a deer blind, and on the way to the deer blind, he saw the footprints, near the huckleberry plants. It's a different time of year, but he saw the footprints. So he says, "Oh, I'm going to measure these and take pictures of them after I go hunting, because I want to get, by sunlight, I want to be in that, when sunrise, I want to be in that deer tree blind." So he comes back into camp. He says, so the end of the day, he doesn't get no deer or anything. So he climbs down the thing and he goes to look for the big footprints, and he finds where they were. And it looked like this big hairy arm had just wiped the prints away. So I thought that was an intriguing story that he told me.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, we got to wind it up. We're at 10:12. Holy crap, it went quick.
Wow.
Ray, we got to have you back for maybe a members only show.
Okay.
Yeah.
We want to do that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's leave everybody with our wisdom of the week, and just stick tight, Ray.
Okay.
Hang tight. We'll be right back.
It's now time for Untold Radio AM, Wisdom of the Week. Remember, your dreams are the blueprints of your reality, so build wisely and take small steps, as they will lead to monumental journeys. Good night from all of us at the Untold Radio Network.
Yeah,
All right.
there we are.
And we're back, and Ray's gone.
Ray
He's just
stepped out.
gone. He just abandoned us. There he is.
Nature
There
was
he is.
calling.
All good. All
I
good.
drink a lot of water when I was doing
Oh,
that.
that's fine. That's fine.
Oh, it's all good.
Last time we had the podcast, I didn't drink water and I got this huge cramp in my thigh.
And he
So it's
finished
like I
the
was
interview.
talking and I was like going, oh, I can't let him show that I got a cramp. So this time I drank too
Oh,
much.
well. That's okay. Yeah, we love you, Ray. All right.
Yeah. Thanks, Ray.
everybody-
Thanks for coming
yeah,
on.
We
Oh,
will.
it was really great fun. Thanks.
Yeah, and we want to throw up. I want to mention Ray has got how many? It's like 68 different publications. You got a lot of them. Bigfoot publications.
I lost kind of count. But
Okay, go and look up. Can you throw up one of these magazines? No, that's a book. But
yeah, this
throw
one
up
here has everything we talked about.
right.
I mean, as far as the tools, structures,
Right.
glyphs, the stone working,
But what's-
archaeology stuff, and that kind of stuff.
But
So
he's got
that's
this magazine called Bigfoot. What's the name of the magazine? Bigfoot Quest
Yeah.
magazine. And there's tons of different issues on Amazon. They're
All on Amazon.
inexpensive. They're like what, $5, $4?
Yeah, like from $3 up to like some of them are like hardcovers, so they charge more.
But they have cool covers, a lot of really interesting content.
But I only charge what Amazon does, so I don't make any profit or anything. I just do it to get the
Right.
stuff out there.
So, but he'd like to get these out to people. And so if you can support his efforts, go to Amazon, pick out some of these copies, buy them. Ray would appreciate it. Leave some reviews for his magazines. I know there's a lot of them now, but leave some nice reviews for him and support his books. So he's quite a guy. Trust me. This guy is, I mean, we haven't even skimmed the surface.
I could have talked 3 hours about flint napping and Clovis points.
Oh yeah,
but
of course.
Next time.
But anyhow, we'll be back next week, same time,
Yep.
same channel. And thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you so much, Ray. Thank you, everybody in our audience,
Thank you,
and all
audience.
our
You're the best.
moderators, and all of our wonderful friends. So good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
I call you up in the middle of the night. Been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine.